Soon, chat, we'll be starting. Very soon. I just need to get one last thing set up because I'm not used to doing YouTube anymore, I mean. I've been so much more frequenting Twitch that's just like, I forgot the whole format of this again, so I'm like, I have to do this, I have to click on this. But yes, good morning everybody. Slow Panda, the queen of the Crystal Kaiju Godzilla. Oh, Master Wolfgon, Inugami, yes. But yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. Just gonna do some customization, some monetization, some Zation Nation, whatever. Everything ends with Asian. A-T-I-O-N. I'm just trying to look for one last setting. I forgot where it was. There we go. Remember, as always, my streams are for adult audiences. Even if the content is wholesome and pure, I just like to keep things with an adult community. Don't want any issues with underage people watching. But yes, hello to everybody. For me, it's actually afternoon, so some people it's the morning. I don't know. I just say good morning to because Slow Panda mentions it all the time. All right. One last thing we must do. Add the timestamp. We are going to be starting in a few seconds. I think. Yes. T-minus 10, 9, 8, and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you get it, you get it. Welcome back, chat. Dirk the Red Panda, here, with Tennis Ace. Yes, we are back on the good old YouTubes. Boom. I sound like a boomer. Oh boy. Queen of the Crystal, your name is so long I can't read the message on OBS. I'm sorry to be repeating. But I would love the next episode of Remember the Flowers to be on YouTube. I'm making it a Twitch series though. Like I'm sorry if you can't attend. It will always be a VOD on YouTube, but that's where my main audiences are moving towards now, or I'm trying to work with like various Twitch collaborators for that, so that's why I keep it on Twitch. Alright, so we are going to the preferences. I think they are here. Yes, we were at the end of day 35. And we are continuing on to day 36, the second day of the regionals. It is a 3-day tournament. Fingers crossed we make it all the way. But we got past the first round on day 35. Today is going to be the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. I do have a Procreate template here to make sure I'm on the right track with who's facing who. Based on where we are now, it should be yes. It should be Mishimaya going up against whoever's in the round of 16. We don't know who's in the round of 16, the round of 8. All we know is that based on Keisuke's side of the bracket, he could be facing off against Yuya in the quarterfinals, which can be quite exciting if I say so myself. Alright. Let me get things set up, and we shall be started in a bit. It is good to be back here. Even if it is not my bread and butter anymore, it's still fun for the nostalgia's sake of just coming back to good old YouTube and just feeling my roots. This is where it all began. From my first Tennis Ace video, my first ever video for this channel. Technically, I mean, I did delete some old videos of Stirk the Grey Wolf. We don't talk about that. I actually can't find them anymore. But yes, technically, my first ever video for YouTube. The first episode of Tennis Ace. And now, our latest video today. The 36th day of Keisuke's Tennis Ace route. We will begin at the 8-minute mark. That is in about 10 seconds, so once again, the T-minus 10-second countdown begins. And I scroll my mouse over to this bad boy over here. Let's get started then. It's good to be back. I feel comfortable in the silence. Oh, same Inugami. I had to redo every single save. I was like panicking because I'm like, I transferred my files over from my Mac to my PC and I thought, okay, everything should be fine based on the update 57. It seemed okay. And then I got update 58 and everything went to crap. Everything. So I had to restart everything. Luckily, I have the latest 6 saves for each route, but if I go back to the first days and do Haruki's route eventually, I will have to rerun through the game and do that. Probably not on stream, but just offline to catch up. Alright. What is happening? I don't know. Something creeps up on me. I forgot I accidentally made the text really fast, so I'll have to do it after this scene. Something creeps up on me, slowly coming closer and closer. I try to open my eyes, but no matter how much I struggle, it refuses to respond to me. Little by little, anxiety begins to well up in my chest, and I become more and more aware of some kind of presence just around the corner, continuing to rise until it catches in my throat. I feel like I'm being watched, and there's something so heavy on top of my chest that it becomes harder and harder to breathe. As I feel my brain becoming more and more starved of oxygen, my mind fires off desperate pleas for help. Someone, please. Anyone. My pleas are left unheard, or maybe even ignored. The last dying gasps of my consciousness mind, the last dying gasps of my my last dying gasps of my conscious mind before finally. Oh, my last dying gasps of my conscious mind before finally fading into. Ah! Ah! Who's following me? Who was following me there? My preferences. I had to do this to make sure I could fast forward through the unseen text as fast as possible without doing that. It's a good tip in case anybody wants to go back and be like, I want the text to be seen, but I don't want to have to sit through and hit every enter. Good note for everybody. Text speed all the way up, and on some it is this direction, but for Tennis Ace and a couple other games, turn it all the way up. Anyway. I jerk myself up and out of bed, sitting up violently and taking a deep breath. Before I even realize what is happening, I look around in a panic, still feeling that vague sense of danger that threatened to suffocate me, struggling to even breathe. As I look around, my mind slowly comes back to reality, eventually coming to the realization that I had been dreaming. I exhale, letting my body relax as I look down at myself, realizing that my futon is completely covered in sweat. At least I hope it's sweat. Are you okay? Oh, it is Keisuke. My vision is still a bit blurry, but as it settles back to normalcy, my computer does a little glitch. For some reason, every once in a blue moon, my HDMI cable does that. But it's normally fine. Anyway, my vision is still a bit blurry, but as it settles back into normalcy, I look to my side, gazing at the source of the voice that had called out to me. There, I see Keisuke, my boyfriend, kneeling on the floor next to me with a clear look of worry on his face. Oh, hi there. What happened? You were breathing really hard while tossing and whispering in your sleep. I tried waking you up. Oh, so that's what brought me back to reality. It all felt so real, though. I try remembering what I had even been dreaming about, but it all quickly vanishes from my mind, leaving nothing but vague flashes in the place of memories. What used to be sheer terror is soon replaced by confusion. I'm gonna tweak a little bit around. Sometimes the text is a bit too slow and I'm like, I need to get more text to read. But it was replaced soon by confusion. I feel like I was awake for a little bit, but I couldn't move. I felt like there was something at the corner of the room watching me. But now that I'm recovering my lucidity? Lucidity? Yeah. Brain, what's happening? The idea sounds completely absurd. Oh. Yeah, I'm fine. It was a nightmare. Nothing you need to worry about. If you say so. Oh, it's great to hear you back on Tennis Ace. I'm excited to see this route. Hello from the UK. Aw. Hello, Captain Memo. I take another look around the room, noticing that the curtains had already been drawn open, and yet there wasn't much light outside. There's no way it's nighttime again, so I'm imagining it might There's no way it's nighttime again, so I'm imagining it might be really early in the morning. I didn't wake you, did I? No, you're fine. I've been up for 30 minutes or so. Been drinking some tea and trying to, well, it's a bit embarrassing to say, but I guess I've been trying to cope with my nerves. As I sit up properly and lazily rub my eyes, I watch Keisuke get up and walk back to his chair by the window from the corner of my eye. You haven't even gotten dressed yet. Why would I? It's only you and I here. Then, how did you get tea? Did you seriously not notice the hatch right next to the door? What did you think that was for? That's what that was? I thought it was a vent. That was pretty sus. Okay, I'll stop. Nico. Oh, Nico. You will never bore me with your Among Us jokes. Hello, Tiger's Tail. Don't judge me. I just woke up. My brain isn't working yet. It has not exited gremlin mode. Alright, alright. Fair enough. Oh, fair enough. How are you feeling, though? I got distracted by the chat. Y'all distracted me. How are you feeling, though? You were shaking pretty hard there. Like I said, I'm fine. It was just a nightmare. I don't even remember it. At worst, I'm just going to need to take a bath to get rid of all this sweat. I can certainly stand behind that decision. That's the politest way anyone has ever used to tell me I need to shower. Who am I, Cooper? Well, I wasn't trying to be mean or rude or anything, but I don't like sweat. Sorry. You really didn't pick the right lobby. You really... Yes, you did not pick the right lobby. June runs into the emergency room. No, June runs into the room. Emergency meeting! One of us is the killer! Everyone looks at Saya-chan. Thanks, Inugami. I think you were the one! You really didn't pick the right hobby if you're that against it. I'd like to think that you don't need to like sweat to be an athlete. Keisuke does not have musk fetish confirmed. True, but you need to at least be able to stomach it. We'll agree to disagree here. I get up on my feet, quickly stretching myself to chase away the early morning stiffness that comes from sleeping on a futon. I get that it's traditional and everything, but I really don't get how people manage to use those exclusively for so long in the past. Oh, I already miss my bed. I'll go downstairs to take a bath in a little bit. That should be good enough for you, right? Well... Keisuke sets down his now empty cup of tea, fidgeting in his seat for a few moments. He's very obviously trying and failing to come up with a way to say something, so I decide to stand here patiently and wait for him to find the words he's looking for. It's not like you smell bad or anything, and I was thinking of going out for a jog anyway. It would be a waste for you to take a bath right before it, so... A waste, huh? Is this your roundabout way to ask me to go with you? Could you? I'm afraid I might actually go insane if I stay cooped up here for much longer. I was planning on going alone since you were asleep, but now that you're awake... Sure, I don't mind. I'll wipe myself dry with a towel and maybe use some strong cologne to make sure I don't smell before we leave. Oh, I could lend you mine. It smells really nice. True, that it does. But wouldn't that mean that I'll end up smelling like you? Would that be truly so bad? Cooper stands be like... I guess not. Take a sip every time I mention a Cooper reference. Besides, Keisuke's cologne is way nicer than anything I could afford. Although... Wait. Are you sure that's going to be okay? Yours is really, really expensive. You don't have your savings anymore, so... Oh, please. As if that's even remotely a concern. A few sprays of it aren't going to be what uses all of it up. Besides, this is more of a method of control on my family's part than anything else. They would never risk the optics of me being seen as anything prim and proper. My clothes, my hygiene items, all of it is important to maintain the image they want me to project. They merely added a new layer of annoyance to the process. Since I can no longer freely spend money, I need to rely on them and put in requests for the things I need. They want me to know that they can control me. Yeah? How can you say all of that with a straight face? it's because he isn't. You're talking as if it weren't a big deal, but it all sounds super terrifying to me. My point is that the only things I have to worry about are the things they wouldn't want me to be seen doing. I imagine music enters into that equation, but not perfumes or colognes. If you say so. You seem way too calm about this. It actually worries me even more than if you were angry about it. Nico, I understand and appreciate the concern. Really, I do. But I have had time to think about all of this, and I am used to dealing with it. They've been a thorn on my side for years now. It's not a single gesture that will suddenly break me. In fact, their stubborn attempts to keep me under control just make me want to stick it up even further. Oh God, stop him! This man needs to be stopped! Please, someone, anyone, stop him before he screws himself over! Ooh, pretty streets. Nothing bad can happen in the streets. Nothing. The chilly morning air hits me on the face as soon as I step outside. The first thing I notice is how many people seem to be already walking around considering the time of the day. It's quite the varied mix of people too. Some corporate types in their business suits and the likes. Some joggers of varying ages in their tracking suits and exercise clothes. What looks to be a bunch of people who spent the night partying and are only now heading home. I do wonder, though, how many of the young adults jogging around might be competitors in the same competition as us. Honestly, I totally get those vibes when I was in my high school club tournaments. It'd just be like, you go out in the morning outside of your hotel and you occasionally see some other teams and other players just wandering and sauntering around, and it's like, oh boy, this is going to be exciting. We're going to be playing some of them in a bit, or we're going to see some of what our competitors look like, and it's just always so exciting. Like, that's what I miss about that. Like, it would be fun to do club tournaments again, or at least play in, like, those team tournaments again. But yeah, I just don't know if I want to exactly do that or make the effort to, go out of the way to find a team. It was even hard as is when I was still doing it. But we move on. Despite how early in the morning it is, it seems that Tokyo really doesn't sleep. Oh, I forgot they're in Tokyo, because, what is it, Kanto, Saitama, whatever the hell the regionals are, Tokyo's inside of the area, so yeah, that makes sense. This checks out. Keisuke doesn't wait for me before taking off into a run. I quickly follow behind him. Luckily for me, it's not really difficult to keep up with the hair. I tend to feel more groggy than anything this early in the morning, so I've always struggled with morning jogs. But perhaps because of the nightmare earlier, I feel more alert than usual. Every now and again, I glance at Keisuke with the corner of my eye, making sure that I keep up with him without getting too far ahead or behind. I'm not used to jogging with other people, so matching up with someone else is a bit difficult. Keisuke taps me on the shoulder when we near a corner, pointing at it as if he wants me to follow. After having gone in a straight line for several blocks, we round the corner as he After having gone in a straight line for several blocks, we round the corner as he wanted, making me wonder if he's jogged around here before. Keisuke, like Saya, has a pretty good memory, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's jogged around the area yesterday and memorized some of the streets in the process. I could never do that. I need to constantly consult my phone whenever I go somewhere new before I get my bearings. Once we start building up a little momentum, I feel that familiar warmth in my body from the exercise. My body begins to wake up from its last remnants of sleep, bringing a jolt of energy along with it that makes me want to keep going. I sneak another glance at Keisuke, admiring his form for a second. There's no strain of any kind on his face. For some reason, even the mundane act of jogging together fills me up with a satisfaction that I struggle to describe. Damn, now I wish I had taken the initiative to ask him to jog with me in the mornings before class while he was still Jeez, that is a long sentence. I could not read in advance. Damn. Now I wish I had taken the initiative to ask him to jog with me in the mornings before class while he was still staying at my place. Now that he'll be heading back home, we won't have the chance. He lives way too far away to do that. Saitama is the prefecture and major city. Saitama is the... Oh my god, brain. Saitama is the prefecture and major city in Saitama. Tokyo is in Kanto region, which Saitama is also in. Oh, so like a prefecture is kind of like a county area, and then it's like inside the county you got like different counties within the state or province. So I'm assuming Kanto region is kind of like the equivalent of like a province or state. Blah, blah, blah. I can't read that part. Tokyo before or on a plane. Oh, I've never been. Okay. Queen of Crystal, you need to shorten your name. I cannot read. I cannot read what you say. I can't wait. New character coming out. Oh yeah. Haruki is going to be interesting. Even if a lot of people don't like him, I'm very curious. Anyway. Is there something on my face? Keisuke meets my gaze briefly, shooting me a question without warning that makes me nearly lose my confidence, or my cadence from the surprise. My cadence. What is the word? I nearly lost my cadence from this surprise of words. Huh? You've been staring. Oh, sorry. I was thinking of some stuff. Oh, that's fine. It's cute how you tend to get lost in thought so often. What? Do be careful, though. At least keep an eye on where you're going. You almost collided with a lamppost a couple blocks back. I did? As we continue chatting, Keisuke slows his pace ever so slightly. Probably because it's easier to talk when you're not in between panting and counting breaths. I follow suit as he looks me over one more time, smiling brightly as he does so. Even that basic gesture is enough to make my heart flutter. You know, it's kinda interesting to see just how many people around here seem to be students like us. I even recognize a few faces from the tournament. Oh, you do? I'm not great with faces, so I didn't recognize anyone. I was wondering the same thing to myself a little bit ago, though. Yeah, we've crossed a few other competitors during our morning jog. Then again, I suppose it makes sense. Most people will try to stay someplace close to the venue. And if you're the type to jog in the morning, sunrise is right around the latest you can get up without messing with your schedule for the competition. Do you give everything this much thought? On occasion, if it interests me. Sounds like a lot of things interest you. True, I'm a man of many interests. Chiefly among them is you. Oh, smooth. What? Baka? Oh, hey, there's a vending machine here. How about we stop for a quick drink? We've been running for a little while. So thank you for explaining, and I understand. At least Glory Hounds without hesitation. Oh yeah, with Glory Hounds without hesitation, I'll be there. Did I do that on YouTube or Twitch? I don't remember. Oh, great. Maybe I'll also make that one a collab thing. I did the first one separate, or solo, but I'm debating. I am master debating. Right after dropping that bomb on me and leaving me all out of sorts and silly, and Keisuke stops abruptly, causing me to almost fall over myself trying to stop too. You're a little clumsy today. Let's hope it doesn't affect your performance, shall we? This is your fault! Keisuke turns his torso to look away from me, covering his mouth with his hand in an attempt to hide that cheeky little chuckle of his. You did it on YouTube. If not, I would be there last time. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it really depends on what I want to do. I've been doing Tennis Ace and the Smoke Room and Password on YouTube for so long that it would be a complete whiplash to switch them to Twitch, so that's why I'll still stream on YouTube for these series. But with my other series that I just started, I'm leaning more towards Twitch. It's really tricky because there's pros and cons with both, and it's like choosing your battles, what's the best for me, what's the best deal for me, what's the best deal for my viewers, what gets the best interaction, you know, all of that. Anyways, in this moment, I think I may hate you a little bit. I'm going to get myself a sports drink. Do you want anything? You don't have to buy me anything. I can get a drink myself. Oh, come on, it's just a drink. Don't make a big deal out of it. But, Nico, I wouldn't be offering if it was a problem. That's a good point. Don't go getting awkward around me just because you know of my current situation. I swear to God, this kind of thing is why I tend to not tell people about myself in the first place. I guess that's fair. Sorry. Keisuke totally read my mind too. Ugh, I hate how transparent I am sometimes. So, what will you have to drink? Can you get me a sweet coffee? Coffee, huh? Oh, look at that. Someone's almost an adult. Keisuke hands me my coffee can, despite the rising temperature once the early morning chill begins to pass. I still hold onto the hot can with both my hands, enjoying the feeling of the warmth permeating it. Almost. Should have asked for a block of coffee. Should have asked for a black coffee. Haven't you heard? That's way more mature. You're pulling my leg, aren't you? Of course I am. Black coffee is disgusting. That's not a take I expected to hear from you. I thought you'd be a fan of black coffee. I'm fine with no sugar, but at least add some cream or something to it. Black coffee on its own always tastes burnt to me. Even cold brewed coffee. Make sure to add some creamer. Make sure to add some coffee to your creamer. I'll take your word for it. I rarely have coffee outside of the one I make myself, and I tend to add milk or sugar to that once. I rarely have coffee outside of the one I make myself, and I tend to add milk and sugar to that one since Aki likes to drink it too. Now that's a surprise. I'd have thought Akiyoshi-kun would be the type to drink his coffee black. Make no mistake, he tried to. It was very funny to watch him trying to insist he liked it while grimacing at every sip. Took him about a week before he stopped trying. He really is a resilient one. I wouldn't have lasted a day myself. Nah, he is just stubborn. I take a sip of my hot coffee, enjoying the sweet and mild flavor against my tongue, as well as the sensation of heat filling me up. Vending machine coffee is a lot better than I remembered. Any clue how long we've been out for? I spaced out a little ago, so I've lost track of time. About 20 minutes? It hasn't been that long. I didn't bring my phone with me, so I can't really check either. Oh, now that you mention it, I forgot to bring mine too. If I were jogging alone, I'd bring it with me so I could listen to music. Since I was going to have company, I didn't see the need to. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but I'll still warn you that expecting good company from me first thing in the morning is setting yourself up for disappointment. Is that so? I'll make sure to keep that in mind. I lean against the nearby wall, slowly sipping my coffee while alternating between looking at Keisuke and at the people that are walking by us. Every now and again, people watching can be an interesting way to pass time, similar to cloud gazing. It can be relaxing, something to focus your mind on when you need to turn off your brain. I see we're not going anywhere anytime soon, huh? Yeah. Sorry. I probably should have thought of that before picking a hot drink. To be fair, I'm the one who picked a hot drink. You just asked for a sweetened coffee. I could have picked a cold one. Gotta crack a cold one with the boys. Oh. So it's all your fault. That works. You ass! Keisuke snorts, playfully smacking my shoulder. His nose does that thing where it scrunches up for a second when he tries to keep himself from laughing, making him have this kind of puckered look that is very adorable. It takes all of my self-control not to kiss him right now. Hey, you're the one who offered yourself as a scapegoat. You can't complain after. I did no such thing. We can stand here arguing about who did what all day. Can't we all put that aside, agree that I'm right, and move on? You know, like adults. Like adults, huh? If I had known adulthood meant always being in the wrong, I wouldn't have agreed to the terms and conditions. Oh, that's the best part. You don't have to agree. The terms and conditions are implied from the moment you're born. Sounds like a crappy deal. Can I go back to being 17? Nope. Welcome to the rest of your life, bud. God. What even is this conversation? Oh, hey, Tanushman. Long time no see. Fun? You know that's not what I meant. What did you mean? You know what? I don't even know myself. Seems like you ought to have tried figuring that out first. Sure, go ahead. Sass me as much as you want. Just try to remember that I'm the person that shares a room with you and wakes up hours before you do. Something you might want to keep in mind. Is that a threat? No, not at all. It's only a friendly reminder. Nope, I feel pretty threatened right about now. Granted, I've been poking and prodding him for a fair bit, so I can't complain that he's dishing back as much as he's given. How are you feeling now, by the way? Feeling nervous yet? A little. I was feeling a lot more nervous earlier, but the jogging and talking helped to clear my head some. Yeah, you really need to burn that nervous energy as soon as possible, otherwise it starts to eat you up from the inside. No kidding. I quietly continued to sip on my drink, watching the steady flow of people walking in front of us increase with time. We left the hotel at the butt crack of dawn, and yet there was already a fair amount of movement. Now that we've been out for a little while, it feels like it's increased tenfold. Tokyo sure is scary. Not that the downtown area of Saitama is all that different, but still. This is kind of relaxing, huh? What? Watching people? Well, it's not relaxing. That is such a confusing way to disagree with someone. I never said I disagreed. You never said you agreed either. Indeed. Psh, look at you being all vague all of a sudden. What a dork. Is he a part of the dork squad too? What do you think? About? The people walking by. Anyone catch your eye? Anyone? I'm sorry, what? You know, see any attractive guys or something? That's... You're... I'm sorry, what? You already said that. It bears repeating. Feel bashful all of a sudden? Kay shifts his weight around between his feet uncomfortably, looking straight at the ground while groaning. Are we all really having this conversation? Why not? Do you have a problem with it? Why even? No reason. We're just hanging out and I can't think of anything better to say, so I figured it couldn't hurt. Get to know each other better and all. That feels like such a minefield. If it really makes you uncomfortable, then you don't have to. I just don't see the harm. You wouldn't feel bothered if I started talking about people. You wouldn't feel bothered if I started talking about people I find attractive to you? Not really. You're still with me. And we're only human. No, you're anthro creatures. Just kidding. No one's made of steel. You're allowed to look. You're just not allowed to, you know, touch and stuff. You're a lot more put together about this sort of thing than I thought you would be. Listen, I can be a mess about everything. Besides, you've given me no reason to feel insecure since we've gotten together. Hell, you even told me that you used to be attracted to Shoichi, and I didn't start acting all weird about you two hanging out together just because of it, did I? I guess that's fair. Well? Keisuke finally looks up from the ground. It's almost comically cute how the moment I asked him the question, he started looking down as if he felt guilty just looking around. To be honest, none of the guys really catch my eye. Oh, well, that's a surprise. I can see at least a couple ones I think are cute. Like you. You really are into the cute aesthetic, aren't you? I like what I like. Any guys in particular? Cute boy in the blue suit and white tie at 8 o'clock. He's looking down at his watch over and over and seems a little nervous. It's kinda endearing. Oh, that guy seems to be in his late 20s. Didn't know you had a thing for older men. I don't really. Or at least I don't think I do. I don't know, I'm still not super clear on what my tastes are for obvious reasons. Other than the fact that you like cute. Cute is a way of life, okay? What does that even mean? You'll understand when you're older. Bite me. Gladly. Keisuke chortles, shaking his head while staring at the sky above and mouthing what seems to be the word why. Are you the cuteness evangelist? Seeking to convert others into the cult of the cute? Instead of cult of the lamb, Nico just plays cult of the cute. Cult of cute. That has a nice ring to it. What? That was supposed to be a joke! Don't you dare make that a thing! Calm down. I'm just joking. You say that, but I can never tell with you. Isn't that part of my charm? No. Oh, but do you have to say that so bluntly? With a smile on your face? Oh my god! What the fuck, dude? I thought you liked me! Taking that preference into consideration, I'm surprised you're not really into girls. Since, you know, they tend to be a lot cuter than guys do. I guess. I suppose I like the way they dress. Don't think I've ever been interested in the girls themselves, though. Didn't stop you from dating a bunch of them. That's ancient history. Can we please not bring it up? Keisuke chuckles, placing a hand on my shoulder and giving it a soft squeeze. I'm just messing with you. Don't get so bent out of shape about it. I can't help feeling bad about it. The fact that you feel bad about it is why I know you're a good guy. Maybe a bit too dense, but still a good guy. Did you really have to word it that way? Yes. It's not my fault you're so good at lying to yourself to the point of obliviousness. Lying to myself? What does that mean? Not important. Anyway, what was that you were saying? Something about liking the way girls dress? Yeah, I guess. I do find their clothes cute. What about it? Actually, this reminds me of something. Huh? Keisuke looks me up and down, his face suddenly turning a lot more serious out of nowhere. What's up with that look on your face? Oh, I just remembered you once said Kobayashi would look cute in a maid uniform. Oh my god, Nico, cancelled! Why? Huh? I guess I did say that. I suppose I can vaguely remember it. Don't really remember what the context was, though. Could you be? Nico, are you into that? And where's your uniform? Keisuke just walks in with a freaking bride. Not bride. Keisuke just walks in a maid uniform. Into that? What's that? You know, guys in... Wait a second! You're not implying... Oh, did it finally click? Wait just a moment here. What's with this sudden line of questioning? Why are we talking about this all of a sudden? Why would you ask such a thing? Because... I'm curious. Your reaction isn't exactly helping matters either. I'm innocent! I, never said you weren't. I'm asking a simple question. Why are you getting so defensive? Why are you asking? We're going in circles now. I can drop the subject if you prefer. It's not like I'm judging you or anything. It's fine, I guess. I'm just... not used to talking about this sort of thing. Or thinking about it much. Like I said, I'm just curious. The constant mentions about you liking cute things got me thinking. That and me remembering what you said to Kobayashi that one time just made me wonder. I guess? I don't know what I like most of the time. I'm just figuring this stuff out, remember? I'm more or less fine and comfortable with the regular stuff we do almost every day. But these kinds of topics are a bit... embarrassing. Of course. I expect Keisuke to take that opportunity to throw another jab at me, but instead, the hare takes a step closer to me, until we are side by side with each other and our shoulders touch. He gently leans towards me, leaning on me ever so slightly, just enough so that I can feel him there without making what he's doing overly obvious. He's a lot better at being stealthy than I'd give him credit for. You're fine, Nico. Talking about this sort of thing is bound to be embarrassing. We all have topics we're insecure or embarrassed about. But I'm your partner. You don't have to feel so self-conscious around me. Well, I guess you can't help feeling self-conscious. But in that case, at least tell me about it so I can pull back. It's not like I want to put you on the spot to make you feel uncomfortable. Thanks. I appreciate the understanding. But, well, I guess I hadn't given it much thought. My memory is kind of hazy, but I think when I mentioned the idea of Jun in a maid costume, I was only partly joking about it. If I think of it, I guess it would be kind of cute in a way. Although... I guess I don't not like it. I am so tempted for this option. I think it's pretty cute. If you're seriously asking me about it, though... Wait, you're fine talking about it now? You bounce back fast. I'm trying to be open and honest here. You don't have to go out of your way to point it out. That makes me so self-conscious. Sorry. Carry on. As I was saying, I don't think I dislike the idea of Kobayashi in a maid outfit. I guess that too. I think in general, while I think it would be a bit cute, maybe a maid outfit is a tad much. Or not? I don't think I really know how I feel about it unless I were to see it. So it's more like you think you like guys in cute clothes, so long as it's not too gaudy or overdone. Oh my god, there is artwork of Jun in maid outfit on E621. Hold on, we're taking a little pause. For reasons. Oh, I got logged out? What the heck? What the heck? Well, time to do some research. Man, I hate this typing system. No, where's no tennis ace? Yes, there we go. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh my. I like it. I also saw some other things. Yes, it's for research purposes. Don't get on my case. I'm not doing anything right now in particular. Nope, nothing at all. Nothing. Alright, let's get back to the reading. You know what? I guess that makes sense. You guess? It almost sounds like I'm telling you how you should feel here. Yes, it was worth it. I told you I'm not good about this sort of thing. I don't really think about it much. It's okay. That coyness itself is very cute. You're constantly looking for gaps in my armor so you can throw some more barbs at me, aren't you? Of course. That's what makes it fun. I groan as loudly as I can to show my displeasure, putting a hand on Keisuke's shoulder and gingerly pushing him away. Hard enough to make him move, but not so hard that I'll send him tumbling down. For some reason, the gesture seems to amuse him more than anything else since he struggles to keep from snorting. Okay. Message received. I'll stop messing with you about it. I do realize the specific wording, you know. About it. You'll still mess with me about other things. But of course. For instance, how about we get back to our previous conversation? I believe you were pointing out which guys you thought were attractive. We're back on that? Oh, I'm not one to let my prey escape when I've got them dancing so beautifully within my palms, after all. You sound like a bad anime villain. Well, I was trying to put on my best menacing aura. If that's your best, then you're going to need to put some work into it. Whatever. So it didn't work this time. So what? Just tell me who else you find attractive already. Lost your composure that quick, have you? Guess you're not the only one that can play at this game. But, there's still a few nice-looking guys going around, so I guess there's no harm in it. Besides, the sooner we get into a different conversation topic, the sooner I can stop thinking about guys in girly clothes. The thought of it is making me feel very weird. There's that lynx in the half-zipped red tracksuit and short shorts. Ooh, that is very cute. They don't exactly leave much to the imagination. Wow. That's the first thing you point out? Oh, horny. I'm a healthy adult guy. Leave me alone. Sounds like we'll have to do something about that once we get back from the trip, won't we? That's moving on! You're so easy. You really delight in my pain, don't you? Is this a red flag? It feels like it should be a red flag. What about you? If you're going to judge my taste so thoroughly, then you should at least have the decency to come out and tell me about your own. Like I said, none of the guys really catch my eye. So, what, your eyes never wonder? I didn't say they don't. For God's sake, Nico, read between the lines. I said that none of the guys catch my eye. What? Bisexual ooh? Oh. Oh. There we go. Right. Sorry, guess I completely forgot about you being bi. Guys in gay furry visual novels can like girls too? What? I don't blame you. I'm not exactly the, hey bro, look at that chick over there, her rack is huge type of guy. That's a very specific example. I've met guys like that. It's exhausting. You can practically smell the testosterone. And not in a good way. Is there ever a good way? I could think of a few. Keisuke leans perilously, jeez. Keisuke leans perilously close to me, his nose and mouth just a few inches away from my neck. Close enough that I can feel him brushing up against me. The sudden gesture is enough to make me yelp and move away, suddenly feeling flushed and self-conscious. I could get used to this. Making me embarrassed in public is absolutely not allowed. Aw, but where's the fun in that? Can we stick to the topic at hand? I didn't even know we had an actual topic at hand. I thought we were just talking about whatever. Yeah, sure. But it's still your turn. Fine, fine. So fussy, God. Excuse you, I opened up about my interests. It's only fair for you to do the same. You're not gonna leave me hanging like this. Well, there aren't all that many people in general that are catching my attention right now, so would it be okay for me to just give you the broad strokes of what I like? Yeah, sure. If you're okay with that. I'm not all that certain on what I'm attracted to at the moment, so I don't know if I'd be able to do the same. Except for cute. Right. Yes. Except for cute. I will always be attracted to cute. You'll say stuff like that, yet you still get all huffy at me for asking any questions. That's besides the point. Keisuke straightens himself up against the wall, clearing his throat and bringing a hand to his chin as if he were stuck in thought. He mulls over the question for a few seconds, even making that quiet sound that some people make when they're thinking. Well, first of all, I feel like I should say that I tend to have a preference for girls over guys. Oh, he's female-leaning. I'm male-leaning. Or at least I tend to find myself attracted to girls more often. Or maybe it's more like I tend to find more things about girls attractive than I do guys. I don't know really how to put it. I think that's a good way to put it, though. I mean, that's how I feel with it, where it's like, it's not just, oh, 9 out of 10 dates I'm gonna go with a girl or a guy or whatever. It's like, for me, it is like, I find more male parts or attributes attractive. But I'll still find some things about women or female presenting people attractive too, but yeah, maybe not as many. Still, should I be worried? What? Of course not. That doesn't mean I'm not 100% attracted to you. It's just that... I guess it's that I'm more selective when it comes to guys. Does that make sense? Somewhat. Keep talking. Well, when it comes to girls, my tastes are kind of broad, I suppose. I like cute girly girls just as much as the next guy, but I also like older, mature women a lot. And I suppose I do like them busty. I guess that makes me a boob guy. I like booba too. I like peck booba and regular booba. Which one will you order? Wow, my boyfriend is a boob guy. What a weird sentence to say out loud. Come on, it's not that weird. Or at least I'm not that weird. This conversation is weird. Relax, I'm messing with you. Yeah. I guess that about sums it up, though. I'm not too picky when it comes to girls. And while I do have physical preferences, the personality is also really important to me, even if I feel like a cliche for saying that. I mean, I am also a butt guy. For me, it's like peck/boobs, ass, and, you know, the thing in between the legs. Yeah, any sort of private part gets me going unga boonga. After all, I wouldn't want to date someone I don't get along with, right? I'm sure that goes for everyone. Of course. As for guys, like I mentioned, I suppose I'm a little pickier. Oh, this is gonna be good. Ugh, you're really making me feel put on the spot here. No, carry on. Describe your ideal guy to me. Let's see how many of those boxes I tick. Now that's a downright scary thing to say. Not at all. I will admit, I am enjoying making him sweat a little. So much of our relationship has been him messing with me. I have to take the opportunity to sneak in a few jabs whenever I have the chance. And right now, he is wide open. As I was saying, I tend to be pickier when it comes to men. Oh, so now we're talking about men. A second ago, I thought we were talking about guys. It's the same thing and you know it. Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? Are you going to let me finish? Okay. You don't need to get your panties in a bunch. I don't wear... Whatever. Anyway, I tend to like different qualities in guys. I like guys who are fit. I don't necessarily need them to be muscular, but if they are, it's always a plus to be able to watch and touch. Other than that, a nice face is always good. A good ass. When it comes to guys, that's the area my eyes are drawn to the most. That and their chests. Ooh, I like it. I do suppose that I also have a thing for broad shoulders. Broad shoulders. Sorry, what is happening? But that is so specific that it's hard to even list. It's very low on my list of priorities. I also like guys who are self-aroused, confident in themselves without being cocky, capable, independent. Oh, and wit is also a big plus. I want someone who can keep up with me and trade bobs with the best of them. Being sweet and affectionate is fine. Hell, it's great when the time is right. But I won't lie. I like being able to trade witty insults and bantering. It keeps me on my toes and it's a lot of fun. Is that so? Well, based on that general description, I'd say that I fit that bill for a lot of those to a T. Oh, I know. It's not a coincidence. Of course that's only what drew me to you at first. My developing strong feelings for you has more to do with... but you know what? So does Shuichi. Hell, I'd say that that description fits your guys' friendship even better than it does you and me. This is why in the June route it really is good to see them together. But it's kind of hard because I'm like, when you're doing Shoichi or Keisuke, it's like, you're breaking up that pattern. Well, maybe then there's the Haruki route. With the fact that you and I click really well, and you make me feel good about myself? Oh, you just carried on saying what you were going to say. No acknowledgement of my point about Shoichi? Not even to deny it. I'm innocent. Of what? I didn't accuse you of anything. Oh dear, did I break you? Hello? I snicker, waving my hand in front of Keisuke's face to mess with him, to which he immediately pushes my hand away. Oh my god, a three-way with them would be amazing. Keisuke, X Yoichi, X Shoichi. That would be so good. That's mean. What? How am I mean? It's not my fault your description fits Shoichi so well. You know I used to have a crush on him. Bringing it up all of a sudden like that is so mean. Aw, I thought you liked to. What is it you said? Trade barbs with the best of them? I'm only giving you what you want. It was a mistake to enter into this conversation. Oh, come on, don't be like that. I'm just messing with you. It's not a problem. You're not going to get mad at me over it. What, over Shuichi and I both fitting your description of the kind of guy you like? No, you said it yourself. That is only what made you initially interested in me. You developing feelings involved way more than that, right? Right. Although... Oh no. Just for the sake of full disclosure, are there any more of our friends that you've crushed on or feel attracted to? What? Absolutely not. Really? Not even Saya? I mean, I know she's not a busty girl, but you and her are really close friends. And she definitely has a lot of lip on her. Have you never thought about it? God, no. Not even for a second. She would eat me alive. I don't disagree. The mere idea of entering into a relationship with Mizuguchi-san fills me with nothing but fear and dread. Mostly dread. I don't think I'd survive. There is no more unappealing thought in the world to me at the moment. Damn, harsh. Oh, did I hit the wrong button? There we go. I value my physical and mental well-being, thank you. Both of which would be at risk in such a situation. Saya-chan isn't that bad. She's just a little bossy. And maybe a tad demanding. Some guys find girls like that cute, though. Murasaki-senpai did. Yeah, no. If not my physical health, then at least my dignity would be in danger. You're so dramatic. Ugh. Eloquent. I could tease him for a little more, but I decided to ease up on the poor guy. Yes, Saya would be the one where it's like, honey, it's 4 p.m., come for your dick flattening. If I keep pushing, I could very well fry Keisuke's brain. And while the idea sounds funny, today really isn't the day for it. I wouldn't want to get him in. I wouldn't want to get him so in his head that he locks up and can't perform later today. Instead, I place a hand on his shoulder, giving him a gentle squeeze before moving my hands down to his lower back, trying to give him a few encouraging rubs. You're having way too much fun with messing with me. Tit for tat. I should have known you would say that from that topic. Or I should have known to stay away from that topic. It wasn't that bad. Now we know more about each other. How can that be a bad thing? You have a lot more ammunition to use against me. That's how it's a bad thing. I hereby swear to use my ammunition responsibly. That's not exactly encouraging, you know. Disagree. I feel very encouraged. You ass. You do seem to really like mine. What? Remember, you said that you really like guys' asses. Something about it being the place your eyes get drawn to the most? That doesn't mean I was talking about yours. Oh, so my ass isn't nice? You don't like it as much? No, that's not what I meant. Your ass is... It's fine. Just fine? Damn, cold. It's a good ass. It's a great ass. Now leave me alone. Alright. Settle down. Jeez. No need to get so worked up. Ugh, I can feel my blood pressure rising. Pretty sure that's just the blood rushing to your face. You're blushing so hard that you look like a neon sign. Shut. Aye. I walk to a nearby trash can, tossing my empty coffee inside while taking advantage of that moment to keep my back turned to Keisuke so I can recompose myself for a bit before I turn around again. Also to shake my ass to him. I'm well aware that the look on my face would just piss him off. I'm barely managing to keep myself from laughing. So, I'm sure I must have the stupidest grin right about now. Seems you're done, at least. Huh? Oh, you mean with my coffee? Yeah, I'm done. Then we should get going. We wouldn't want to dawdle outside for too long. We'll miss breakfast. You mean we're already heading back? Well, I certainly would have liked to exercise a little more. We've wasted enough time as it is. We can't afford to mess with our schedule just because I'm feeling a tad anxious. Well, that's a good point. We won't want to be late since that would mess up with the schedule for everyone. Not just the two of us. At the very least, it should be a bit easier for him to control his emotions now. Being able to remain calm and collected is one of the most important parts of competitions, especially when traveling. While it may seem understated, the amount of stress endured when playing away from a familiar area cannot be ignored. Stress can build up little by little, so slowly that you didn't notice it at first, until it eventually becomes so overwhelming. If a player can't do a good job of recognizing their stress levels and managing it in a healthy way, they'll probably self-destruct. Sadly, it's not that uncommon to see professional players have incredibly public meltdowns. It tends to be more common among younger players, and even more so those that are raised by tennis parents. But the effects can usually be catastrophic for one's career. Hello, Burpee. The fact that Keisuke is taking the initiative in recognizing and dealing with his stress is already a good sign. Of course, there is no point to me saying it outright. That sort of thing is a skill that everyone needs to develop on their own. A player really wouldn't have much of a future if they can't even tell what they're stressed or when they're playing suboptimally. What? Having a breakdown? Or looking at somebody's ass? I have had my share of mental breakdowns, but maybe not like mid-game. Maybe more so in practice. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Support staff exists to help with it, but you have to be able to do at least the bare minimum yourself. Self-awareness is absolutely a requirement to become a professional in any sport. Yeah, I've had my breakdowns before, but the main concern for me right now is, are you still feeling anxious? You seem to be doing much better now. Ugh, maybe I am. Your company tends to make me feel better most of the time. Don't say something so embarrassing out of nowhere. What? You don't seem to mind? What with that huge dopey smile on your face and everything? You can't expect me not to smile when you say something like that. Then get used to it. I'm not going anywhere. Is that a promise? As close to one as can be. Why? You think I'm gonna leave you? I don't know. This is my first real relationship, and we've only been dating for a little while. I don't know much about this kind of thing. It can't be this easy, can it? Probably not. That's not something I'd expect you to smile while saying. Nico, relationships are hard, regardless of which kind of relationship. Be it family, friends, none of it is easy. No one knows that as well as I do. If you entered into a relationship with me expecting everything to be easy, then you are a fool. I'm here for the difficult, annoying times, not just the good ones. Isn't that to be expected? Man, you're a serious smooth talker, aren't you? If you talk more openly like this to other people, I'm 100% sure you'd have a row of admirers on your own, you know? I guess that makes sense. Sorry. And there goes the dopey smile again. Don't mock me. I'll pull on your ears. Okay, I'll behave. Please stay away from my ears. They're kinda cute, though, so I make no promises. That's a little terrifying, don't you think? It's awfully tempting. Nico, that look on your face is scaring me a little bit. Good. Balance has been restored. I'm not letting you keeping getting over me. I'm not letting you keeping getting one over me all the time. You're my junior, so I have to put you in your place whenever I can. We should get going, though. If we keep goofing off like this, we'll never get back to the hotel. Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Keisuke looks back at me for a second, flashing me a grin before taking off ahead of me with no warning. What are you doing? Might as well make it interesting, right? After a moment's hesitation, I take off after the hare that is now running ahead of me while laughing. Gosh, that's so dirty. You're playing dirty. We never settled on rules, so how can I be breaking them? Keisuke laughs in a way that I don't remember ever seeing before the two of us began dating. Yuichi wants to be a dom. When I think about it, I've seen so many new sides of his after we got together. I never knew Keisuke could be this sweet and thoughtful before we started dating. Truth be told, I saw him as my uptight, overly formal junior for most of the time we've known each other. To think that he can now make me feel all these unfamiliar things? That thought alone makes my chest feel tight. Be it good or bad, I've learned so many new things about Keisuke as of late. And yet, the #1 anxiety plaguing my mind recently has been about Keisuke's family situation, as well as my one about the outburst incident. Seeing Keisuke's situation was like a wake-up call. It forced me to reevaluate my naive perspective on family and my tendency to always expect good from other people. At the same time, the way I reacted to his attempt to spare me from dealing with it made me feel scared of myself. And afraid that Keisuke would eventually realize he could do better than me. And yet, at every step, he always makes sure to comfort me and make me feel secure in the subtlest ways. Is that what it feels like to be cherished? Ugh, I feel so sappy and ridiculous thinking about all these things. We've only been dating for a short time, too. I'm sure if anyone else knew the kinds of things I'm thinking of, they'd make fun of me for my puppy love. Is that? Unfortunately, due to my complete distraction, I don't notice Keikun coming to a stop right in front of me, ending up colliding against his back. Ow, what's the big idea? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. No kidding. But as I was saying, isn't that... Nico-san? I don't know who that is. As Keisuke jutted his chin towards something to try and get my attention, the sound of a familiar voice coming from the same direction immediately made me stand up straight, as if I'd just been doused with a bucket of ice-cold water. Oh, it's him! Ooh, I love voicing one of my own kind. It was only then that I realized we would stop right in front of a convenience store. It was only then that I realized we'd stop right in front of a convenience store. And who had been coming out of it at that very moment other than Tanabe? Ah, good old Tanabe. Love him. Oh, he's gonna just dom me. That or powerbomb. Whew. That look. Gee, that damn smile. Yeah. The red panda spotted us. Yes, I did. Flashing an amiable smile and walking towards us with a plastic bag in his left hand. I'm about to kidnap you, Nico. I hope you don't have any crazy ideas. Don't get any funny ideas, Keisuke. Good morning. Fancy meeting you here. Yeah, good morning. Talk about coincidence. And good morning to you too, Urashihara-kun. I believe this is the first time we've properly met. Oh, good morning. You know my name? Mm-hmm. I make it a habit to learn about those that interest me. I interest you? Tanabe-kun can be a bit meticulous when it comes to learning about potential rivals. You are correct, even if that is a mildly unflattering way of putting it. Whoa. Still, it's been a while. Are you doing well? Yeah, I'm okay. Last year's school was a bit more annoying than usual, but other than that, it's the same as always. Are you sure of that? You seem a little different. And I'm not just talking about your face being uncharacteristically stiff right now. My face? Now that he's mentioned it, your face is a bit stiff. Is everything okay? Of course! Why wouldn't I be okay? Nico? Crap, I wasn't expecting to find Tanabe-kun here. I can usually steel myself a little bit during competition since I expect to see him there. But this is something else entirely. Talking to him like this feels so awkward. Oh, by the way, I've watched a couple recordings of your match against Kokonos-kun back in April. I was quite impressed. You were? Oh, of course. Kokonos-kun had been on my radar since last year as a potential rival that I looked forward to facing. What I didn't expect, however, was your performance in that match. Suffice to say that I was quite happy to see a bit of the old Nico-san once again. For the first time in years, I felt excited once again. I'm flattered? Oh, are you sure? Your face doesn't quite look it. I'm happy to hear you say that. You have no idea how happy I am about it. But also, how the hell am I supposed to react? I just don't know what to say. Fair enough. Now that I think about it, you've never been great at handling praise and the likes. My apologies. I shouldn't have put you on the spot like that. Well. Yeah, I guess that's true. He really doesn't handle praise all that well. Praise kink? It's not something too many people know without getting close to him, though. Yes, when Shoichi gets happy when he wins a volleyball match. I have to say, however, that I am surprised to see you out here at all. Oh yeah, I guess you're right about that. Surprised? Why would you be surprised? Because unless he's changed a great deal in the last few years, he used to be the complete opposite of a morning person. Why, I remember I had to basically drag him for morning jogs with me when we were in middle school. And he would barely be awake and grumpy the whole time. You went on morning jogs? Yeah, a few times, I guess. Now that I think about it, I don't think I ever went in depth about what my relationship with Tanabe-kun was like in front of Keisuke. Ugh, I can't handle the way he's staring at me right now. It feels like he's going to bore a hole into the back of my head with his eyes. At one point, I had to make a deal with him just to make him come with me. A deal? Wow. I don't even remember that at all. Did we really do that? Oh, of course we did. You made me agree to go to the arcades with you in exchange for waking up early to jog. Oh, is that so? Oh boy, all hints of amusement have completely disappeared from Keisuke's face entirely. Why do I feel like I can suddenly hear boss music? He is the boss. Is something wrong, Urishihara-kun? You've had that look on your face for a little while now. Is all the reminiscing boring you? Not at all. I just didn't know there was so much reminiscing to be done. You seem to know Nico-kun quite well. Huh. Well, of course I do. We've been friends for... As soon as the words leave his lips, Tanabe blinks a few times as if realizing something. His face contorts into a heavy frown, with his eyebrows knitted tightly together and twitching noticeably. Oh, right. I got so caught up reminiscing that I forgot that. Oh, I suppose it's only natural for you to not be aware since you weren't a friend of his at the time, as far as I'm aware. Oh? Oh boy, are we really getting into that? It's not really a big deal. We don't need to talk about it. You saying it just makes it sound like there's something to talk about. Tanabe's eyes dart between Keisuke and I. From the hair's confusion to my obvious discomfort, and he sighs, his face contorting into a regretful smile, the kinds of which I hadn't seen on him for a long time. Sorry, Nico-san. I spoke out of turn. What? You're doing fine. Don't worry about it. Nico? What's going on? That's not... We don't need to get into this right now. Get into what? God, please, not this. Not right now. I'm not prepared to have this conversation. Especially with Tanabe-kun standing right here. I've made things awkward, haven't I? That's not... Yes. Keisuke! I thought so. I'm really sorry. I really shouldn't speak so casually about it, considering the current situation is my fault in the first place. Wait, what? Your fault in the first place? What's that supposed to... I'll leave you two alone. I'm sorry for calling out and interrupting your morning. Wait, Tana... Later. Bye. Come back. Tanabe x Keisuke. I've said that before. Like, Tanabe x Keisuke would be a really good ship. They are both witty and, like, they both have such a good, confident swagger about them that would work off each other so well. Yeah, he's got a BF, so he's better now. Tanabe awkwardly bids us goodbye with a quick nod and bow, walking away in the opposite direction without looking back even once. I'm left standing in shock, not knowing what to think or how to react to what just happened. That entire conversation had my brain short-circuiting. So many things that I didn't expect or understand happened in quick succession, and I... Why did you do that? As soon as the words leave my lips, I can tell that I messed it up. I don't even have to see the look on Keisuke's face shift for me to realize it. I just do. Because I was trying to get you out of an uncomfortable situation. Isn't that obvious? Yeah, well... You didn't have to be so harsh on him. Telling the truth is being harsh? He asked you a question. You didn't have to do that. You had your eyes fixed on either your feet or the far-off distance the whole time during that conversation. Your smile wouldn't reach your eyes, and the corners of your mouth kept twitching over and over. It was quite clear you were uncomfortable. I appreciate the concern, but I wasn't uncomfortable. I was nervous. If anything, the only thing making me uncomfortable was seeing your face scrunching up more and more as the conversation went on. Nervous? Why? Because I could see the look on your face. My face? What about my face? Please, you stopped just short of growling at him like an angry dog. You were glaring at us the whole time. And you got more and more scrunchy as the conversation went along. You look pissed. What? I'm not pissed. Then tell that to your face. Okay, Keisuke stops himself mid-sentence, instead choosing to take the deep breath and calm himself. After doing it a few times, he opens his eyes to look straight at me, although it lasts only a second before his gaze soon shifts somewhere else once again. I'm not mad or anything. I promise. I was frustrated, I guess. I was supposed to be hanging out with my boyfriend, and we were having such a good time, too. And then, all of a sudden, you two were talking about all these things I didn't know about. Maybe I was a little bit bitter since I was feeling left out of the conversation. But I swear, as soon as I noticed how off you were acting, the only thing in my mouth was trying to end things as soon as possible because I didn't want you to feel uncomfortable. From where I was standing, you looked a little jealous, that's what. But I don't want to try to call Keisuke out on it or anything. First of all, I have no proof. Second of all, I'd rather at least try to trust him. Keisuke isn't the type to just lie to me like that, especially about something so small. It'd be petty. Okay. Can we just head back to the hotel now? Yeah, wait. First things first. Can you explain what the whole thing was about? Huh? There we go again. That look is what I'm talking about. You had that look on your face the whole time while Tanabe-san was around. That's not... Come on, Nico. It's not a big deal. Can't you just tell me already? Do I really have to get into this right now? There's no way for me to have this conversation without things being incredibly stiff and awkward. I'm already so confused about this whole situation after seeing the way Tanabe was acting. Oh, the next line. For the last few years, he would barely say 2 words to me. We'd at most make polite conversation right before our matches, only for him to get tense with me after... Only for him to get terse with me again after it. And the few times we've talked about anything outside of the court when coming across each other during competitions, he was always overly polite and detached. Seeing him suddenly going out of his way to talk to me? Making conversation as if we suddenly were great friends again? Reminiscing? Apologizing? What is going on here? Nico-san. Sorry. I was thinking about this whole thing. I was thinking the whole thing over. Seriously, what's going on? Explain it briefly. I'll tell you later. Don't worry about it. I don't know. I mean, these two are the better options, but I don't know if I'll tell you later is going to be him forgetting. I'm going to explain it briefly so he can go off of it. I guess one would be the best immediate option, so we're going to explain it briefly. God, he's not going to let this go until I've given him something, is he? Okay, what's the fastest way for me to explain it that will leave him satisfied and make him stop asking me questions about it? Alright, I'll tell you, but it's not a big deal. It's ancient history. Seemed pretty recent to me. What with the overly familiar way he was talking to you and everything? Yeah, well, that is a recent development. Up until now, we barely said 2 words to each other. And also, when you phrase things like that, you can't complain about me thinking you sound jealous. Well? Tanabe-kun and I used to be close. We met quite a few years back during competitions. We would play against each other often, and because no one other than him would really pressure me, I started getting really into it. And it turned out he did too. We started looking forward to playing against each other. From there, we started chatting before and after our matches. That involved into trading phone numbers. After a few years, Tanabe-kun and I started hanging out whenever we were in the same town for a competition. We also traveled a few times to visit each other, spend weekends at each other's places, that kind of thing. Saya-chan was my first tennis friend, but Tanabe-kun was my first proper rival. We ended up becoming quite close for a while there. Of course, I couldn't hang out or talk with him as much as I do with Saya or Shuichi, but it's no exaggeration to say that I was just as close to him as I am to those two. I remember you mentioning that before he was an important rival to you, but I never knew you two were close. At least not like that. I thought it was just a rivalry. Yeah, well, it started that way at least. Keisuke nods slowly. I can practically picture the gears shifting in his head as he's thinking all this new information over. He opens his mouth to say something, yet nothing comes out. After staying quiet like that for a bit, he closes his mouth, then opens it again. This repeats for a few seconds, the words hanging in the air without being said, almost as if he can't decide which of the millions of questions flying around in his head he wants to ask first. Until, finally, what changed? Back during my second year of middle school, I hit a wall. Our matches, which used to be incredibly close and even started skewing in his direction, I noticed a gap growing between us and panicked. Truth be told, I hit a wall. But since I didn't know what to do about it, the distance just kept increasing. Oh, I think you mentioned that before. Yeah. I tried a few desperate ideas, but nothing seemed to stick. Eventually, by the end of my last year of middle school, the distance between us had grown so much that I lost pretty pathetically during the finals of that year's U15 All Japan. And then Tanabe cut me off. What? Yeah, I never understood it either. He said I wasn't taking tennis, seriously. Said he was constantly working his ass off and looking forward to our matches, but I had started goofing off and acting like I didn't care anymore. He accused me of not respecting him or our rivalry. And then, well, the rest is history, really. He said that if I was going to be like that, he didn't want anything else to do with me, and that was that. After that, true to his word, he cut off contact with me. No more texting, no more calls, no more hanging out, no more traveling to see each other. Nothing. Not even practicing together. On your final year of middle school? Wait, wasn't that your first year of high school when I fell from the number 1 position in my age group? Yep. Ugh, like I said, that had been the end of it for our relationship. Until today, we hadn't properly talked, in years. You can imagine just how weird it was for me, right? adjusting from having him be as close to me as Shuichi to nothing. Wow. Keisuke looks away, biting his lower lip in frustration. I notice his eyes darting around just about anywhere. That, plus his suddenly jittery posture, tells me all I need to know about right now. Great. That's all I needed this morning. To be pitied. Absolutely perfect. Today sure started out great, huh? Come on. Let's just head back to the hotel. Wait! What now, man? Haven't we been on this topic for long enough already? There's just one thing I want to ask before I put it to rest. Please bear with me here. Fine. What is it? The friendship of yours. You talked about how you guys were so close that he was almost like Urata to you. Yeah, what about it? But also, right after he broke things off, all of a sudden your performance got impacted so hard that you fell in the ranks. And your attitude towards tennis changed dramatically. All by sheer coincidence? What's your point? My point is... was it really just a friendship? Huh? I mean that from the way you talk about it. How you guys hung out whenever you had the chance. You traveled to the other side of the country to spend time together. You'd call and text every day. And then once he broke that off, you started spiraling. It sounds more like you guys were dating than anything. What? No! Absolutely not! That's ridiculous. First of all, Tanabe-kun isn't like... that. Oh, and that's the only reason why it couldn't be? Because he isn't like that? What are you even asking me here? Look, let me make things clear. I really don't care about you having relationships before me. I already know about your ex-girlfriends. Whether you dated guys before me or not changes absolutely nothing. But I do want to know instead of being in the dark. I thought I missed a comment. Okay. Seriously, Keikun, this is ridiculous. There is no way. I'm telling you, Tanabe and I were never like that. Okay. You guys didn't date. Got it. Thank God. Just a crush then. Did you have feelings for him? What even is this conversation? Why are you even asking me this stuff? Because I deserve to know? Come on. I told you about my crushes when they became relevant. Namely Urata. Hell, you were teasing me about it not too long ago today, too. It's not as if it changes anything, but I want to at least know. It sounds like he was a hugely important part of your life. I want to know what to expect. For instance, do I need to run interference between you two because you don't want to talk to him? Do I need to excuse myself so you two can talk things out? Do I put more of an effort to be included in the conversation? There are a lot of things I could do here. Of course, we could say that I should leave well alone because the situation doesn't involve me, but we both know it's not that simple. I don't know how this is even relevant. The fact that you can't even look me in the eye or answer a simple question is all the answer I need, I suppose. Wait, hang on a sec! Without bothering to say another word, Keisuke turns around and starts walking in the direction of the hotel. I quickly follow behind him, sputtering through my words as an attempt to smooth things over while failing to make any sense whatsoever. Nico-san, please stop that. You don't have to keep explaining yourself. But we talked things over. I got my answer. There's no need to rehash it to death. We're cool. Are we? Because it really doesn't seem like we are. You seem kind of mad. I'm not mad! What? That only makes you sound even more mad. Maybe it's because he sensed what I was thinking about. Keisuke comes to a stop, taking a deep breath before spinning around on his heels to face me. I am not mad. I have things to think about, yes? But I'm not mad. Maybe a little annoyed at how you were refusing to talk things through with me. But, again, not mad. You just said I'm not mad 3 times in the same sentence. That's basically the motto of people who are mad. Look, I don't know how many more ways I have to say this, but your past or whatever changes nothing for me. My own past and situation is hardly uncomplicated, yet you still stuck by me. Obviously, I'm going to do the same for you. All I want is honesty about it, and to know whether you still have lingering feelings for him or not. What's in the past is in the past. It doesn't matter to me. Do I still have... Keisuke, I do like you. Yes, don't misunderstand me. It's not some insecure little thing who is not wondering, it's not some insecure little thing who is now wondering whether my boyfriend actually has feelings for me or not. That's not what this is. Then what is this? I'm really, really lost now. Seriously, my head hurts. I have no idea what is going on anymore. I feel like I'm stuck in damage control mode. I know you have feelings for me. You're not exactly smooth. The way you feel for me is not something you can fake. I'm 100% confident in how I feel for you and how you feel for me. But people are complicated after all. A person is capable of holding more than one feeling or emotion within themselves. It wouldn't be unreasonable for someone to have conflicting feelings for 2 people at the same time. Especially if one of those people is involved in an unresolved, complicated, long-lasting, messed-up relationship. That's... a lot of adjectives you used right there. Oh, I know. Trust me, it's not by accident. For someone who claims to not be mad, you sure are taking every opportunity you can to needle me right now. All I'm saying is, from the sounds of it, you didn't exactly have closure on the matter. And considering how incredibly lacking in perception you are about your attraction to guys, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if an even younger version of you was too dense to have noticed you had strong feelings at the time. Did you call me stupid twice in a row? Perish the thought. I would never. Okay, now I'm sure you're messing with me at least a little. Even if we were that, if that were the case, there's not really anything I can do about it, is there? No, not really. Then what is the point of this? What is the point of this entire conversation? I'm not an idiot, Nico, and neither are you. I'm not asking you to do anything about it. I just want to have all the information that is relevant to our relationship. Now, I believe you've wasted more than enough time outside as is. So can we please put a pin on this and head back to the hotel? Yeah. I guess we can. You still sound angry, though. Again, I'm not. And it's not my intention to come across that way. I promise you I'm not. Me being frustrated at the situation isn't the same as me being frustrated with you. So you're not frustrated with me? Maybe a little. What? Who knows? I could tell you, but where's the fun in that? It's more fun for me to let you sweat it out a bit. You're messing with me. You're 100% messing with me. Yes, dear. It's called boyfriend privileges. I can't deal with you right now. My brain is complete and total mush. I'm even more confused now than I was 5 minutes ago. And I don't even know how that was possible. Me having feelings for Tanabe? There's no way. We were too young for that kind of thing. Tanabe-kun was just a close friend to me. Right? Okay, I need to open the windows. I am dying of sweat. I am a very sweaty boy right now. Oh dear God. Wait a minute. Taking a quick break, and then we'll get back to things. Why must it be so hot here? It was 90 degrees earlier, and it is now 90 degrees. I love the weather. I love nature. Very sad. Alright, that's the end of our mini break. Alright, let's get back into things. That was a quick 1 minute break. I'm assuming that I went past the marker. Yes, I did. Anyway, Saya-chan's last match of the day is almost coming to an end. Everybody lost. Everybody was sad. No, I'm kidding. Thankfully, both of mine didn't take all too long, so I was able to watch most of it without a problem. Once Saya-chan finishes things up here, Keisuke will be the only one that still has a match to play. Oh, I am nervous for that match. I am genuinely nervous about if Keisuke's gonna pull it out in this route. I won't tell you what happened with Shuichi in case you want to see it for yourself. But yeah, that was a good match. Anyway. Once Saya-chan finishes things up here, Keisuke will be the only one that still has a match to play. Which is probably why... Friends! Buddies! Shoichi, you made it! Seems like Saya-chan has it in for the... Seems like Saya-chan has it in the bag. One more game to go. Yup. I feel a little bad for the girl playing against Mizuguchi-san. She seems so sad. Yeah. that girl on the other side's just like... Absolutely, it's like... God damn it, it's the dick flattening meme. She's just like... worn out as hell. It's like that same face or whatever. It's like... Opponent, time for your morale flattening. Yes, Saya. Let me say it again, in case I need to clip it. Saya's opponent's just there on the other side, and Saya's just like, Opponent, it's time for your morale flattening. Yes, Saya. There's nothing you can really do about it. If you worry about how the other person is going to feel about losing, you're never gonna be able to compete. I know. That's right. Dude, are you even hearing what you're saying? And what's up with your face? Oh no, puberty! Uh-huh. Shoichi pokes the back of Keisuke's head, snapping him back to reality. The hare looks around confused before finally realizing what's going on. Sorry. I was thinking about something else. I might have been answering on automatic. No shit. Is everything okay, Keisuke-san? Yeah, it's fine. It's just... Mizuguchi-san's match ending just means we are closer and closer to my own match. Against that annoying overbearing, yapping, childish. Okay, that's a bit much, don't you think? Sorry, weird mood. What I meant to say is that once Mizuguchi-san's match ends, there's nothing between me and my own match. I'm next after her. Yeah, no shit. That's how time works. Screw you, Arata. Wow, aggressive today, are we? Could you not wind him up, please? Today's a tense enough day as is. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Whatever. You'll be fine, Keisuke. What happened to all the confidence you had yesterday when you were talking about it? Same place that baseless confidence always goes. It's washed down the river as soon as the adrenaline settled down and the reason returned to my brain. That's a very poetic way of saying you've lost your nerve. You want to run that by me again? Seriously, Nico? You just got on my case for needling him. I have special permission. How so? Not important right now. Oh, I'm just trying to cheer you up a little. You can't be all doom and gloom about it. If you step out into the court like that, you're only screwing yourself over. You don't think I know that? Being aware means nothing if you can't find a way to deal with it, though. Buck up. It would do you some good to remember that you and I share a room, you know. Well, not if you lose and drop out of the competition. In that case, I'll be sleeping alone tonight. My words elicited an immediate gasp from everyone else. Aki and Jun especially. The two are looking at me like I just kicked a puppy or something. Aniki! Dude, seriously? That's low. Even if you're trying to get him to snap out of it. Excuse me, I happen to still remember the crap you said to Keisuke back during the prefecturals after he lost to Yuya-kun. That was low. Hey, it worked, didn't it? That's a really mean thing to say, Nico-san. I'm trying to Can you all please shut up? What, Keisuke? Look, Mizuguchi-san's match just finished. As soon as Keisuke points that out, we all look forward towards Saya's court, finally noticing that we completely missed out on the final game of the set since it went by so fast. Sorry, Kate. And he walked away before I had a chance to say anything else. Great. This attempt at cheering him up sure failed spectacularly, huh? Wait for a second. Keisuke-san! Jeez. What bit him this morning? Let's not get into that, shall we? We quickly catch up with Keisuke, finding him already talking to Sai-chan on the exit of her court. Couldn't you have waited for us? Your constant nagging was getting on my nerves, so I removed myself from that situation. Kei-chan, it's fine. Once you get out there, take the warm-up rallies to get all your tension out. Hit the ball as hard as you can or whatever. Get those nerves out before the match starts. Yeah. By the way, congratulations on your match, Sayane. Yeah, you really showed them who's boss. Thanks, but it's not that big of a deal. Pretty sure those are your opponent's parents right next to us, so I'd avoid saying stuff like that out loud. Oh, better keep my trap shut. Probably for the best. Hey, would you look at that? Looks like a certain someone can smile after all. Of course I can smile. Don't be an ass. I'm not being an ass. I'm just glad to see you smiling again. Me being nervous doesn't make me incapable of smiling. Whatever you say. I just know that I haven't seen you smile once since I got here. To be fair, you didn't show up for the morning matches. You've barely been here for a couple hours. Whose side are you on? Now that makes me smile. Bite me. You sure do love to ask me to. Not literal. Keep telling yourself that. Listen, I have to go inform them of my match results. Do you know how the match before yours is going? Any idea how long it is until your turn? A few more minutes, probably.
How do you know that?
I don't for sure, but I'm theorizing based on the matchup. You can't know that for sure. Pretty sure everyone that gets to the quarterfinals is a skilled player. You don't see as many one-sided matches as you do in the early stages of the competition.
Kinda ironic to be saying that after the match we just watched, don't you think?
Everyone knows that Saya-chan is the exception to the rule. She's the exception to most.
Even though that sounds like a compliment, I should feel like I should be offended by it.
Of course not. It was a compliment.
I somehow doubt it. Saya-chan, your match results? Oh, right. I'll be right back.
Saya-chan quickly excuses herself, power walking away towards the front desk to report the results of her match. Even though she's trying to play it cool, the spring in her step was noticeable to anyone that had eyes, and the sight of it made me smile. It's a good thing she's back into her usual mood. She scared me this morning.
It looks like we were thinking the same thing.
She scared you? How so? Did something happen this morning? When we got back to the hotel after our morning jog, she was borderline catatonic on her couch. The girls were poking her, trying to get her attention, but she only responded with grunts and the likes.
What? What happened to get her like that?
I don't know. She wouldn't say a word. She wouldn't even move despite the poking. I kept trying to talk to her and snap her out of it, but she only made random sounds every now and then.
Yeah, she is the rare, the rare good female VN character. I'm not saying that not many novels do it, but she is one of those, standout, I meant to say. She's definitely a standout female character. A lot of them can be very, one-noted or just not great, or not greatly written, or just not great people at all. But yeah, I feel like she's got the personality to her. And then, oh, that's Keisuke. And then, when Coach showed up and said it was time for breakfast, she got up like nothing had happened. And then, acted like that rest of us were crazy when we asked her about what happened. Well, obviously she has a few flaws, but that's just her character. Keisuke launches into an in-depth description of the scene we walked into this morning. And thanks to it, it becomes clear that our group is separated into two very distinct camps. Those that have known Saya for a long time, and those that haven't. While Keisuke is frowning as he explains it and Jun is hanging on to every word with clear concern, Shoichi and Aki are clearly unmoved. Ah, so that's what it was. Yeah, it's been a while. You guys aren't even worried by that? It doesn't sound like Mizuguchi-san at all.
Nico reacted this exact same way this morning. I asked him to help me get Mizuguchi-san off the couch, but he said that she'd bounce back on her own eventually and let her go, and she, blah, 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 I don't know what to say. I asked him to help me get Mizuguchi-san off the couch, but he said that she'd bounce back on her own eventually and left to go have breakfast. From the description, it sounds like you were introduced to Sayo's emo mode. She is Sayo, the emo Saya. Emo mode? It's rare. It usually happens if there's no one around to coddle her when she's in needy Saya mode. Then she sulks a lot and gets into emo mode. Think of it like a computer freezing. Nothing happens no matter how much you click the cursor or press the buttons. You'll have to wait for it to start responding or reboot it on your own. And, well, you can't quite reboot a person, so there's nothing to do other than wait for it to pass on its own.
That doesn't sound real.
It used to be a lot more common back when I was 5 or 6.
I barely remember stuff from that far back, but I still have vivid memories of Evo mode. I barely remember stuff from that far back, but I still have vivid memories of emo mode Sayane. Yeah, it's such an unusual scene after all.
Is this why you weren't surprised this morning?
Yep. If we'd gotten back to the hotel in time to deal with her when she was in her needy mode, that'd have been one thing. But once she slips into her emo mode, there's no real getting through to her.
And you couldn't have told me this instead of leaving me to worry.
I was hungry.
The three of us are more or less used to this kind of thing. So sometimes it's easy to forget how completely alien it must be to you guys.
Yeah. Come to think of it, how long has it been since I saw needy Saya last? Let alone emo Saya.
3 years. At least.
That sounds about right.
That doesn't sound like the kind of thing you should want to have become normalized.
Saya's weird. None of that is news. I don't know why you guys are surprised.
There is weird, and then there is weird.
I suppose. Halfway through our little weird conversation, a sudden loud chime cuts through the banter, quickly getting everyone's attention to the source of it. Keisuke's bag. Is that? Keisuke quickly unzips the back, digging his hand inside and pulling out his phone. He quickly unlocks it as the screen promptly comes to life. The hair taps on it a few times before storing it away again. He closes his eyes, taking a deep breath. The meaning of it isn't lost on the rest of us.
It's time.
Saya-chan isn't back yet. Do you think there's time for us to wait?
Ordinarily, I would say yes, since they're still preparing the court, but
you want to go wait inside so you can focus, right?
Mm-hmm. It's an important match. I can't afford to mess it up.
I get it. We'll walk with you. With a nod, Keisuke quickly spins around and starts walking towards his court. The four of us silently follow after him. Behind me, Aki wastes no time in pulling out his phone and writing a quick message to Saya-chan, letting her know what is going on. The jovial mood that had been established until just a little while ago is completely gone, taken over by an overwhelming feeling of tension in its place. It already feels a tad suffocating for me since I know how important this match is for Keisuke. Not to mention how badly I want to have the opportunity to play against him in an official tournament match before the end of my last year. If it's this bad for me, I can't begin to imagine how Keisuke must be feeling. We follow him as far as we can go. Once we reach the opening on the fence for him to walk inside, Keisuke turns around to face us once again. Good luck out there. You've been working your ass off in practice and have improved so much. I'm sure you'll do great.
Yeah. Good luck, Urashara. Knock him dead. Not literally, of course.
Good luck, Keisuke-san.
Yeah, good luck.
Oh, thank you, everyone.
Keisuke's eyes sweep through the four of us, lingering for a moment on each one of us as he quickly thanks us for the encouragement. Oh boy, this is gonna be exciting. When his eyes fall on me, Keisuke looks right into my eyes. We both stare at each other in silence for what feels like ages. It suddenly makes me forget everyone around me, making it feel as if Keisuke and I are the only ones in this entire arena right now. I don't know what he's thinking right now, but I do know I don't want to be the one to cut off this moment.
See you in the semifinals tomorrow.
Ah! This is so sweet! Caught by the surprise of his sudden confidence, I fail to think of a response fast enough before Keisuke disappears inside,
walking towards the bench next to his court and sitting down to wait for the match to officially begin.
Whoa, Rishihara seemed really confident there all of a sudden.
Yeah, he really did. Rapidly approaching footsteps quickly snapped my attention away from Keisuke's sitting figure as I look around to spot Saya running into us in a rush.
Did he already go inside?
Yeah. He just left.
Damn it! Couldn't he have waited for me?
It sounds like he really needed the time to himself to focus. Well, for him to focus, Sayane.
Ah, boo! I wanted to wish him good luck. He's been looking nervous all day, so I wanted to cheer him up.
Don't worry. He looked pretty confident he looked plenty confident in himself when he left.
Really?
Yep. I think he's doing okay now. Oh, thank God. After a few more minutes of the officials wiping the court clean, making sure there are no wet or slippery spots, and doing a final check of the net, it is finally time for the players to be called in. Keisuke and Yuya-kun share what seems to be a very curt greeting before the two quickly take their places on the court to start warming up before the match can officially begin. The two players begin hitting the ball back and forth after doing their basic warm-ups. Keisuke is moving a lot more smoothly than usual. He's a player whose performance is even more affected by his mental state than usual, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised considering how confident he seemed before heading inside. We had suggested he hit the ball extra hard while warming up to work out any stress or nervousness, but just from watching him move, I can already tell that won't be a problem. Yuya-kun, on the other hand, seems ever so slightly more stiff than I remembered. Could it be that he is nervous? I didn't think he even knew the meaning of the word.
Do you have any thoughts on this matchup, Nico? No one knows Irishihara's skills as well as you do, and you've played against his opponent before. What are his odds?
12 to 1. I don't know. I can't say for sure. Keisuke has improved so much over the last couple months that I don't even recognize him anymore. His skills were always good, but he tended to let pressure get to him way too much and couldn't perform his best. But Yuya-kun is unpredictable. You can't really accurately judge his skill level since he adapts really quickly to his opponents. Yeah, I remember him being the intuitive type. It might be a bad matchup for Kei-kun.
What? Why?
Keisuke is the type to watch his opponents closely to learn their habits, tendencies, and strengths. From that, he devises strategies to take advantage of those and get himself the win. The problem is, you can't really use that logic against an opponent that doesn't follow any kind of logical pattern. Oh, I don't know. While it's true that instinctual players are more unpredictable, it also means that they don't tend to think their moves or strategies through as much. If he's constantly moving on instinct, that means he's more likely to repeat the same patterns.
So, what I'm taking from this is that neither of you have any idea who's most likely to win here.
Shoichi's question causes Saya, Aki, and I to share a glance among ourselves, shifting uncomfortably on our feet. Unfortunately, Shoichi did hit the nail right on the head. There's just no way to predict what is going to happen. Of course, as both his boyfriend and his practice partner, I believe in Keisuke above all else. I really want him to win. But once they've done warming up, the two players walk up to the net once again so they could do the coin toss that will decide the serving order. Can't really make out what they're saying when they're this far, but it seems like Kei-kun won the toss. Unsurprisingly, at least to some, he chooses to let Yuya-kun serve first. There are a few murmurs among the crowd. I can even spot the Akita raising an eyebrow at his decision, but those of us who know him can only half-heartedly smile at it.
There's that nasty habit of his again. Yeah. I really wish he'd stop doing that. I shake my head, unconsciously letting out a throaty chuckle. Having played against Keikun more times than anyone else, I'm more than familiar with that habit of his by now. If he hasn't played against someone much before, he let them serve so he can study their habits and come up with a counter strategy to deal with them. And if he has played enough to have their mannerisms and tics memorized, he'll still let them serve first so he immediately tries to break their serve. Having your serve broken can be incredibly stressful, especially if it's the very first serve of the match. It sets the pace for the rest of the game and can throw somebody majorly out of it. It kind of reminds me in volleyball if, like, the other team gets a rally for a couple of points. It's like that. It's like the equivalent of breaking a serve in that if you're going back and forth, but the other team has a streak, after that streak, things may then go back and forth. But that point difference and that gap that occurs from it is the equivalent of breaking a serve, because it's really hard to then change the momentum back to you making those same comeback rallies to match up and even out to it. Because if both teams are very stalemated and neck like that, it can really just set the pace for the whole game and keep it consistent. That was something I noticed a lot more in guys' volleyball games than women's, because women's could have more ups and downs with the rallies like that, but they would still be more like pass heavy and very strategic. Meanwhile, with guys, it'd be very smash heavy and like smash and pass and all this stuff. And yeah, what would happen with that is that things would go very back and forth, be quick rallies. But if the other team had some really good couple of hits in a row that just threw the other team off with that and caught them off guard, then those few points would happen, and then things might settle back to normal, and they would just keep pace. That is my advice for the day. You're welcome. Keikun has a bit of a nasty streak on him, considering how often he'll try to resort to mind games. But I also understand he's just trying to do whatever he can to win. The Hare and the Akita take their respective positions in the court. Yuya-kun pulls a ball out of his pocket, bouncing it up and down a few times before finally looking up. As soon as the two lock eyes, I instinctively hold my breath. There is that brief moment where no one moves. They merely watch each other for several seconds of pure agony before the Akita finally gets into motion. He tosses the ball high in the air before swinging his racket hard to meet it. The impact echoes loudly as the ball darts to Keikun's side of the court. I can easily imagine a serve that's fast catching those players by surprise. But maybe because he's practiced with me so much, Keikun doesn't even hesitate for a second. Keikun accurately judges where the ball will land, dashing there without wasting a second step, managing to get to it just in time to slice it back cleanly to the other side. And so it begins. Keikun begins a strategy of making Yuya-kun run back and forth, mixing in different types of spin, angles, and tight placements to make him struggle. I blink several times, even rubbing my eyes to make sure I'm not imagining things. Instead of hanging back and letting Yuya-kun go wild, Keisuke seems to be moving to suppress him from the get-go, launching a meticulous offensive that gives the Akita no wiggle room to work with. It's quickly apparent just how effective it is, too. Whenever Yuya-kun gets used to the back-and-forth rhythm, Keisuke will hit the ball into the same spot twice in a row, forcing the Akita to double back to the place he just moved away from and wasting precious seconds. This time, Keikun uses the full length of the court, hitting the ball short after to make Yuya-kun... This time, Keikun uses the full length of the court, hitting the ball short after making Yuya move far back with topspin shots. Before long, the cocky grin on Yuya's face is... Yuya-kun, yeah, I keep messing it up. Before long, the cocky grin on Yuya-kun's face is replaced by a tight frown as he pants and groans from the effort in between each shot. With someone like Yuya-kun, you really need to strike fast and hard. If you let the match drag on,
He's going to start getting used to you, and his explosive growth will see him catching up before you know it. Of course, I know that, and I know that Keisuke knows it too, but still, this is so unlike him. Maybe it's because he's seen it happen before. Keikun goes for a much more aggressive style than usual, staying in the offensive the whole time. He manages to successfully break Yuya-kun's first serve, but even that isn't enough to make the hair relax. He continues to press the advantage, almost relentlessly so, to the point that I begin to feel sorry for the Akita. Is that really Urushihara? Jesus, I've never seen him have such a commanding lead on a match before.
I know, right? Even against lower-ranked opponents, that habit of his, watching and observing, always makes things look uncomfortably close. What's going on here? Aniki, did you do this? Oh, because Nico-san is a hyper-aggressive player and he's been because Nico-san is a hyper-aggressive player and he's been Keisuke-san's training partner for months now. Oh, I get it. It makes sense. I mean, I would love if that were the case. God knows I did criticize Keisuke lots of times for that bad habit of his, but he never listened to me until now. I don't think him suddenly deciding to go on the offensive is my doing. This is all Keisuke right there.
Subscriber.
Oh, somebody subscribed. Thank you for subscribing.
And I hope... Oh, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Dork Squad. I hope you enjoy your time here. Anyway, this is all Keisuke right there. Huh. That's some really good judgment from Urushihara. I gotta say, I'm impressed. Don't relax just yet. Look at Keikun's face. He's being unusually aggressive, but he's still watching the other guy closely. He's waiting. Waiting? For Kokonos to catch up, I think. That was his experience with the last match, after all. Oh. Yeah, I think that's the case too. As much as I can hope Yuya-kun struggles to get used to this, reality isn't as nice. I know for a fact that he'll get used to this rhythm and will start improving to deal with it. But no matter how good you become at dealing with it, the fact of the matter is that it's a deeply uncomfortable way to play tennis. People like Yuya-kun and I rely on instinct. We like to. To move, however, feels uncomfortable and to go with the flow. Against someone that is constantly doing everything to keep you from getting into that rhythm, it can feel excruciatingly uncomfortable. And Keikun is no doubt counting on that discomfort to psych Yuya out. Game Urushihara. Game Urushihara. 5 games to 2. I'm starting to feel a little silly having worried. He's destroying the guy.
Didn't you say something about this being a bad matchup for Keisuke-san because the other guy is international or whatever?
Intuitive. And yeah, Keikun definitely caught me by surprise with the sudden aggressive start. But don't be fooled. Yuya-kun is starting to catch up.
He is? It looks super one-sided. Haven't you noticed that the rallies are getting longer and longer?
Saya-chan, Aki, and I all nod in agreement with one another. The difference is very slight, but the tension in Yuya-kun's face is slowly but surely fading away. With each rally, he's closing the gap a little bit at a time. The tide is still firmly in Keisuke's favor, but that's the dangerous part about playing against Yuya-kun. Speaking from experience, Yuya-kun tends to lag behind until all the pieces fall into place and something clicks. Then all of a sudden, he'll flip a switch and become a completely different player. Strategies like that used
Strategies that used to work will suddenly turn against you. Shots that he used to struggle against will suddenly get countered as if doing so was his specialty. That guy kills momentum. Oh, that sounds exhausting. If it were me dealing with it, I think I'd be so flustered by it I wouldn't be able to recover. That's exactly the problem. Keisuke's style relies on slowly chipping away at his opponent, lowering their confidence, little by little, until they can't come back from it anymore. It adds stress little by little until building up momentum until it starts to feel insurmountable. Yuya-kun is the opposite. He'll suddenly flip over strategy on its head and shock from it, and the shock from it is so overwhelming that it adds to the stress. It's like comparing a steadily dripping faucet to a pressure washer. And despite the early aggression on Keisuke's part, as Yuya-kun gets more and more used to the pace of the game, Keisuke is slipping back into his usual, more reactive strategy. After all, if he keeps attacking recklessly, he'll eventually be the one playing catch-up. Game and first set won by Urushihara, 6-3. He's struggling to break Yuya-kun's serve already. The second set is where things are going to start getting dangerous. Come on, K-kun, just keep it up. K-kun perspective. Just as I ooh, this is the K-kun perspective. Hold on, I'm gonna be right back for a second. I'm really hungry at the moment. Oh, sorry. This is done by Jasper's Artfault on Twitter. Just letting you know. I should be another, like, couple minutes just finishing off the snack. Sorry about that. Are y'all ready for the suspenseful match between Keisuke and Yuya? Game 2. Set 2, I apologize. There are games within sets. Let's do this. Just as I expected, that stupid Akira is showing incredibly fast progress. The end of the first set was already more difficult than I anticipated, but from the very start of the second, feels like playing against a completely different person. Game Kokonos. 4 games to 1. Ah, shit. That's not good. From the moment he stepped back into the court for the second set at the end of the rest break, the atmosphere around Kokonos had changed so much it gave me chills. It not only felt like his serve was much heavier than before, but the placement of his shots were more sharp. Much sharper. Whether by dumb luck or skill, it felt as if the ball was being pulled towards the nastiest spots for me by some kind of invisible gravitational field. Not only that, the spin on his ground strokes got so much nastier all of a sudden. Launching a surprise offensive at the start of the first set was absolutely the best decision possible. If I'm already struggling this much, I don't even want to think what would have happened if I'd given him more time to adopt early in the match. The results of the first set might have ended up completely different. 40-30. Damn it, I barely managed to protect my last service game. But now I'm facing a break point again. If he breaks me for a second time here again, there's nothing I'll be able to do to catch up again during the set. With the score as it is right now, breaking my serve would leave him at 5-1. As confident as I might say about my current skill level, I'm not cocky enough to say that I'd be able to break his serve right back and get us to 5-2. Odds are, he'll take the second set. Hell, odds are still that he'll take the second set, but I'd rather not break my serve twice if I can help it. No matter what I do, no matter what I do, the end of the second set will define the pace and momentum for the final set. My current situation is already way less favorable, and it is entirely my fault. Even though my rational mind keeps telling me to rein my enthusiasm back in the start of the second set, I was feeling so high from the confidence boost of winning the first set that I decided to bet on continuing my reckless offense, and attempt to sweep the whole thing away before giving him the chance to mount a counterattack. Suffice to say, I might be in a much more comfortable situation right now if I'd been more patient. Nico, I think you might be rubbing off on me in ways I did not predict. And right now, that's not exactly a good thing. After taking several seconds to stabilize myself and my psyche, I noticed the Empire looking at his watch. Knowing that I don't have long before he gives me a time warning, I tossed the ball into the air. So far, I've had the most successes with slippery slices. The extra sideways spin along with the low bounce has been putting pressure on Kokonos' knees. He seems to have a slightly higher center of gravity, so having him to dip lower to strike a ball negatively affects the strength of his stroke. As predicted, my slices returned ever so slightly shallow, giving me ample time to attack the ball. However, I can't afford the feeling of this frustration rising inside of me. Even this strategy that had been working for me so well is already showing signs of fatigue. I have to think of some kind of countermeasure before I get swallowed up in the Akita's overwhelming presence. But my mind is completely blank right now. I could usually do a very solid work even when I'm deprived of air. This feeling of my lungs burning is a surprisingly effective grounding mechanism. It helps me think even when my cognition is drowned by the growing threat of oxygen deprivation. But now, I have nothing. He's too solid. All of his fundamentals are strong. There is no opening or weakness to pressure. Even his bad habits are being erased at a terrifying pace. Every potential thread or avenue of attack I can find is quickly exhausted just as soon as I manage to identify it. Although I managed to close the gap between our physical abilities somewhat since we last played, it only serves to make me more aware of how completely abnormal his ability to adapt is. Not only that, but the overly heavy balls are difficult to return steadily, so I've been having to lower my precision of my shots to avoid making a forced error, which only makes it easier for him to press even further. And since they also put a lot of pressure on my wrist with how heavy his attacks are, I'm starting to feel the discomfort mounting up. In a bit of desperate effort, I shoot a wide angle shot with as much power as I can muster without much concern for accuracy. As a result, I just barely manage to keep the ball inside the limits of the court. Advantage Urushihara, 40 all. Oh, thank God. We're only in the second set and I'm already worried about being pushed this hard. What am I supposed to do going forward? I can't keep relying on these kinds of desperate gambits to score. Odds are against me on that. The more I push the envelope, the more errors are bound to appear in my play. And yet, I'm caught in the uncomfortable position of lacking any real choice in the matter. Despite my best efforts to maintain my usual style of play, I am well aware that I'm being steadily edged out. With each step I take in the ever-lengthening rallies feeling like slowly getting strangled. The lack of air depriving me of the crucial oxygen I need to maintain peak performance, both physical and mental. There comes a point at where it goes past the threshold of what I'm used to dealing with and becomes far too much. Game Urushihara. 5 games to 3. No, not games. Jeez. Game Urushihara. 5 sets to 3. Thank God. I barely managed to keep this serve too. odds are that he'll keep this serve here and take the second set. And while that is vexing beyond belief, it is still the ideal outcome at this point. Had I let him break my serve here, I would not have only started the third set and final set with the weight of losing the previous one by having my serve broken, but it would also mean that Kokonos would be the one to start the set by serving. If that were to happen, he would quickly bulldoze me. Of that, I am more than certain. As Kokonos is grabbing the balls and stuffing them into his pockets to prepare for his serve game, I finally make my mind up about something. I'm not particularly proud of it, but I'm determined that this is a necessary step for me to win at this point. Excuse me, I would like to ask for a medical timeout. I face the umpire, announcing myself as clearly and concisely as possible. The woman, a middle-aged brown-furred mink, stares at me in surprise, blinking a few times as if she were trying to make sure that she was really hearing me correctly. On the other hand, I noticed that Kokonos stiffening up and dropping the ball was in his hand when he heard my request. I'm afraid there might be something wrong with my wrist. I've been feeling some throbbing as well as some localized numbness. Can I please have it checked out? I put my best pitiful face while making my request, all the while internally hating myself for it. It's not even like I'm completely lying. It's true that the pressure Kokonos-kun's heavy shots are placed on my wrist is causing it to get sore and slightly numb. But I am well aware that it's more fatigue than anything. It is, 5? It is 5 games to 3. A set won by the first person is the... I can't read it. Whatever. So the tiebreaker point has to win by 2 games and not 1. That is true. However, if the game goes to 6 games to 6, then the 7th game that must be won is actually just a game to 10, I think it's 7 or 10. Yeah, it's 7, sorry. It's a game to 7, so the 7th game to 7, and each player will alternate with 2 serves, with one of them just serving 1 first, so it goes 1, then 2, then 2, then 2. Yeah. Exactly what Basket said. And next. But at the same time, not being able to properly feel my hand is dangerous no matter how you look at it. Please take a seat so the doctor can assess you. Once he is done checking you out, we will take a 3-minute break. Thank you. I put on my politest smile while making sure not to look away, regardless of how much I want to. At least all those stupid lessons on negotiation, crisis management, and etiquette my family forced me through paid off for something. I am more than competent enough at masking my feelings when it comes to this sort of thing. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like you can get tie breaks where it's like the points can become like where you have to win by 2, so it's like then 14 to 12, 15 to 13. There used to be a thing with, like, I forget if it's the American Open or Australian or one of the Opens where they made it so that you had to win by 2 games instead of the 7th game being a 2-point match or whatever. And there was, like, a game that went to, like, 68 games to 58. It was, like, insane. And even while I'm thinking of that to myself, the idea alone is enough to send chills down my spine. I hate it. Thankfully, it doesn't take long for one of the venue's doctors to make their way to me. The man kneels down in front of me, asking for permission to examine my hand. He checks my wrist, rotating, squeezing, and feeling around it a few times to make sure there's no serious injury. I had half a mind to pretend to flinch so my bluff wouldn't be too obvious. But it turned out not to be unnecessary thanks to the soreness I've been feeling. I guess there is a bright side to how strong Kokonos' ground strokes are after all. At least I don't have to pretend. It doesn't look to be anything serious. Probably a sprain at most. I'll apply some cooling spray to help you with the pain. But would you like me to give you a pressure dressing as well? That would be great. Thank you. Compression bandages may slightly affect my flexibility in my wrist, but they do take a little while to apply. The more time I have to rest and think things through, the better. Besides, taking a break while Kokonos-kun was about to serve is bound to frustrate him. Not to mention a chance of breaking his concentration. It's a little dirty, but right now, I will take whatever advantage I can get. How was that? Much better. Thank you again. The doctor nods, giving the umpire a signal that he's finished treating me before leaving the court. From there, the umpire quickly announced the start of my 3-minute timeout. In the end, I managed to snag myself at least 6 minutes all in all. I was hoping for 10, but that was probably too greedy. I quickly looked back towards where my friends had been standing. It's hard to make out their faces from here, especially with the fence grid obfuscating so much of it. But at least they don't seem to be judging me or anything. I wish I could get a good look at Nico. I know it would help to calm me down right now. No. Deep breath, Keisuke. You can't let the pressure get to you. Yes, it was at Wimbledon. It was Josh Eisner versus Nicholas Mont. It was 70-68. That's what it was. Thankfully, the cold sensation really does help wonders with my wrist. I initially asked for only the medical timeout as a technicality to give myself time to catch my breath and come up with some kind of strategy, but it turns out that I might have needed it a bit more than I thought. From now, I'm simply focused on putting up as much resistance as I can during Kokonos' serve game. The odds of me being able to break his serve are small. Not that I won't take it if I see the chance, but it's best for me to save any further strategies. Not to mention my energy, for what will look likely to be the final set. The main concern right now is mostly to avoid losing too badly so that the momentum won't carry over in a way that might damage my chances in the long run. I close my eyes, taking multiple deep breaths. Not only does it help to calm me down, but I need to fill my lungs as much air as I can. Proper breathing is the key to maintaining my endurance until the end of this match. Things will be really difficult if I let that go out of control. Just remember the tips Mizuguchi-san gave you about breath control. Time's up. Both players, please return to the court. I let all extraneous thoughts and concerns wash away from me once and for all. This last game probably won't last that long. Once it's over, I'll have another 2-minute break between the end of this set and the start of the next. And while the rest will surely help me out, I can't forget that Kokonos also got time to rest as well. I have to be prepared to put all of me on the line for the third set if I want to win. I promised Nico I would meet him in the finals, and I absolutely refuse to be made into a liar in front of my boyfriend. I was a little worried when Keisuke suddenly asked for a medical timeout, and I wasn't the only one. A quick look around made me very obvious where the rest of the group stood on the matter. Shoichi had a sour look on his face. Saya-chan suddenly went pale. Jun seemed to be on the edge of a panic attack, and Aki looked like he was going to be sick. Hell, I felt I was going to be sick. It didn't help that things out when Keisuke said he thought it was an old wrist injury acting up. I immediately remember the time he got hurt a few months ago during a practice match with me and started feeling guilty and panicked. But the issue seemed to be more or less minor. His play didn't seem to be really affected in any way, and we all exhaled a collective sigh of relief. You don't think he did it on purpose, do you? Yes? You don't exactly call for a medical timeout by accident. Unless you pass out and the umpire calls a timeout instead. Not that! I meant whether or not he faked it. What, faking an injury to take advantage of a medical timeout? No way. Keisuke isn't that kind of player. You say that like it's a bad thing. I'd do it. What? Shoichi, gasp! You, Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, would manipulate the rules to get unjust advantage to your side? Oh, you're not serious. It sure does look like it. I mean, he did feel like he was feeling a little bit of pain, but didn't look like it was enough to call a medical timeout. I know the feeling, though. Strong players tend to make my wrists hurt a lot, too. You all wouldn't last 2 seconds playing volleyball where the super fast ball actually hits your body instead of the dinky little racket. My wrist still has pain because of it. And my jaw has clicking noises. My body's broken. There's merits to both sports. You can't really compare it.
How can you guys play like this? I'm feeling out of breath just watching them.
Toon-san, that's because you're holding your breath all the time.
I am?
The second set already was plenty agonizing to watch, but the third one is unbearable. Keisuke managed to hold on to his ground more firmly this time around, but every single rally is going on for at least 8 shots or more. Something very weird is going on here. Keisuke's fine control and diverse shot repertoire has been slowly slipping. His strategies have been getting more and more simple, and the sharpness is all but gone from his play. If this keeps going... Just as I was thinking that, Yuya-kun hits a winner, successfully holding his serve for the 5th time this set. Game Kokonos, 5 games to 5. Oh, damn it! If Keikun had managed to break his serve here, the match would have been over. From the way this has been going, it looks like they'll be going into a tiebreak. I nod in agreement. I really wish it wasn't the case, but I'm also having a hard time imagining any other outcome. The longer this match drags on for, the more delicate Keisuke's situation becomes. If he still could keep his serve and break... If he could still keep his serve and break Yuya's for a 7-5 win, but I somehow doubt that's going to happen. Come on, Keisuke. It's hard to even breathe. You're killing me here. Keisuke continues hanging back, remaining steadfast and steady in his position as the reactive party in the match. While Yuya-kun is constantly pressing in an attempt to pry open an opening he could take advantage of. Keisuke is trying his best to keep up a defensive wall and last Akita during the rallies. Game Urishihara. 6 games to 5. Please change court sides. Thank God. Even Shuichi, despite all the earlier trash talking, is clearly tense. His fingers are gripping the links in the fence so tightly that his hands are white from the lack of circulation. I quickly think to mention it, but the thought is pushed away from my mind as soon as the players step back onto the court at the end of their court change timeout. Come on. This has to be putting an insane amount of pressure on Yuya-kun, right? There's no way he's not feeling it right now. 1 set each. With the final set on 6-5, he has to hold his serve, otherwise he loses. That's a whole lot of pressure right there. Just to struggle a little bit, show off some kind of opening. Something. And yet, as soon as the rally begins, it's very clear that there is no change whatsoever. Neither side is budging. Keisuke puts up a valiant effort, but the advantage Yuya-kun has from serving is too much to be surpassed right now. Ikeda steadily gets the points he needs. Keisuke manages to equalize at 15-15, but Kokonos then scores 3 points in a row to claim back his serve game. Fuck. Game Kokonos, 6-6. We will now begin the tiebreak.
I can't breathe.
Keisuke-san. close my eyes, placing a hand on my chest to try and steady my breathing. The sound of the ball being struck back and forth makes me whimper every time. I am scared about this outcome. Will it be the same as the Shoichi update? Will it be different? I am so worried. Just like June, it seems I've been holding my breath while watching, and it's starting to get to me. I can't watch it anymore. This is too much. I feel sick. I can't watch Keisuke lose. It's fine. It's fine. Sai-chan's sudden confident declaration snaps me back to reality, mostly out of sheer shock. What's up with you three? He's got to tie break. You're all acting like he's already lost. Some friends you are. Shoichi? Amid the wave of concern and nausea going through our group, Saya-chan and Shoichi alone stand strong, their faces contorted into looks of extreme focus. You know Irushihara better than anyone. You know that guy is stubborn as a fucking mule. Why the hell are you looking away? He promised you he'd win. So at least have the decency to watch his match until the end instead of throwing in the towel. He hasn't given up, so you don't have the right to either. Their words make Aki, June, and I shrink back where we stand. It's true. I've completely given up. I treated the tiebreak like a loss. After all, if Keisuke has barely even managed to score points during Yuya-kun's serve games while Yuya-kun has been dragging him to deuces every time on his, what chance does Keisuke have? A tiebreak would clearly favor Yuya-kun, right? But looking back at the court, Keisuke doesn't seem to be fazed at all. In fact, upon closer examination, he seems to be leading? It's slight, but the momentum seems to be favoring Keikun right now. Just a few minutes ago, he seemed to be struggling to hold on, but now, he suddenly pushed back and reclaimed his territory. What's going on? I should have noticed sooner. Noticed? Noticed what? Didn't you notice how Irushihara lost so much ground on the third set? Even during the second set, despite his opponent being so far ahead, Irushihara wasn't pushing back hard. Almost every one of Kokonos' serve games would be drawn out into multiple deuces. Then all of a sudden, that stops for the final set? So? Keikun did that on purpose. What do you mean? This is just a theory, but I think he pretended to be overwhelmed when Kokonos-kun was serving. He still did his best during his own serve games since he couldn't afford to have his serve broken, but he held back the rest of the time. I think he was trying to lull Kokonos-kun into a false sense of security, make him think he had advantage and could keep his serve easily. Plus, it also had the added benefit of letting Keikun rest a little. If his opponent was going at 120% the entire time while Keikun only put his all into his own serve games, he would eventually expend less of his energy than Kokonos-kun. So, how does that help him if he can't break? Because he was banking on tiebreak, you dolt. What? I look back at the court once again. I finally decide to look at Yuya-kun instead of watching only Keisuke. It's only then that I realize. Yuya-kun looks completely bewildered. His face is stuck in a mix of shock and frustration. While before he was managing to score easily when serving, Keisuke was now suddenly putting a whole lot of resistance into him. Even with that slight shift, due to being built up gradually for a whole set, is enough to cause a noticeable change in Yuya-kun's playstyle. He's panicking. He's trying to rush in and opening himself up for counters. The match is still dragging on a lot, but Keisuke's advantage is slowly increasing. Point for Irushihara, 14-13. 14-13? Basket! Why did you do this? You said games would be insane like this. Why? That score hurts to look at. They're at almost 30 points for the tiebreak alone. That's exhausting to look at. But, holy shit, Keisuke is serving now. He's leading by 1 point. And he's serving now. I think this is what he was looking for. Keisuke grips the ball tightly in his hand. He tosses it high in the air, moving his body in the traditional serve motion. With one quick motion, he swings the racket upward to meet the ball. Misses. My eyes go wide for a moment, thinking that he messed up his serve. But then it happens. As if it had been completely intentional, Keisuke twists his body to hit the ball upward just before it could hit the ground. Instead of hitting a traditional serve, he faked it out and pretended to go for a regular serve and instead hit an underhand serve. What? What are you doing? Yuya-kun's eyes go wide. He was about to dash forward when he saw Keisuke miss the serve, causing him to come to an abrupt stop, only for the hair to then hit an underhand serve that barely went above the net. The Akita goes into a mad dash in an attempt to get the ball, throwing himself forward to reach it just before it has the opportunity to bounce twice by the net. He taps the ball up at the very last second, only for the ball to fly straight into the net. The entire crowd falls silent. Neither of the players move. In fact, the only movement comes from the ball as it rolls away. For several seconds, there is nothing but silence. Hare and Akita both stare at each other between labored breaths, waiting for something, anything to break the impasse. The end comes all too swiftly. Game, set, and match won by Arusha Hara. Count 6-3, 3-6, 7-6. With the deadlock finally broken, as if being snapped out of a spell, the crowd erupts into cheers and clapping. My brain struggles to comprehend what I just saw, but the excitement takes over me before I can even attempt to. Before I notice it, I'm clapping and screaming from the top of my lungs. Next to me, Saya, Shoichi, Jun, and Aki join suit, all screaming congratulations and words of encouragement. Yuya-kun eventually gets up from the floor. Yuya-kun eventually gets up from the floor, his eyes now glued to the floor and his tail between his legs. Under the loud, continuous ovation, the players shake hands, bringing this titanic battle to an end. This was, without a doubt, one of the best matches I've ever witnessed in the U18 circuit. And when Keisuke finally steps out of the court, I am the first to meet him at the door. As soon as the hair shows up in front of me, I pull him into a tight hug. Nico? Hello? I know you're happy, but can you let go of me, please? It's hard to breathe like this. I ignore his protests, continuing to hold him for what I know is a suspicious amount of time. But now, right now, I don't care. Nico, everyone is looking at us. Get a grip. He taps my back a few times to draw my attention. Only then do I finally let him go. Thankfully, it seems the excitement is at an all-time high. So much so that no one thinks twice of my weirdly long hug. Saya, Jun, Aki, and even Shoichi all take turns hugging and congratulating Keisuke. Thanks, everyone. Did anyone see Kokonos? He left through the other exit. Ah, I see. Here comes Coach and the others. Oh, man, I'm tired. Keisuke suffers through the continuous round of applause and congratulations from friends and strangers alike. I eventually notice his legs shaking. He's so tired that he can barely stay on his feet. I definitely sympathize. Thankfully, it doesn't take too long before we can get on our way back to the hotel. Oh, what a game. Oh, that was so intense. We did it. I'm lying here on my futon, staring up at the ceiling while completely failing to fall asleep. Despite how tired I feel, I have this feeling as if my body were weirdly vibrating. It's hard to relax. Next to me, Keikun shifts around repeatedly on his own futon, evidently also struggling to find restful sleep. Hey, are you awake? Mm-hmm. Today was exhausting. It sure was. After getting back to the hotel, we wasted no time in setting up a mini celebration. While having Saya and I get to the final day of the competition isn't really that big of a surprise, Keisuke's match was the highlight of the day for the whole competition. It would have felt wrong not to. Shoichi and Jun went out to buy food and come back with a mountain of sushi, juice, and soda. There was a small tinge of awkwardness thanks to so many of our club mates having been eliminated today. And by so many, I mean everyone but the three of us. Saya-chan seemed a little downcast because of it. Apparently, none of the girls wanted to stick around in the hotel for the night and elected to go home instead, meaning Saya would be left alone in her room for the last night of competition. I can definitely understand how it would be a complicated feeling. For most of our celebration, Keisuke struggled to stay awake, leaning against my shoulder and dozing off multiple times in between getting prodded with questions, as well as attempts from Shoichi to include him in the conversation. Once it started getting dark outside, though, the three visitors had to pack up and leave, quickly helping us clean up the mess we made before they left to take the train back to Saitama. After that, I quickly helped Keisuke take a bath, as well as watched over him to make sure he wouldn't fall asleep in the hot water. And we turned in for bed. You could barely stay awake when we were having dinner, but now you can't sleep? How weird is that? I know. It's infuriating. I stick my head out of my futon, digging it under Keisuke's to grab his hand, squeezing it gently and stroking the back of it with my thumb for encouragement. Thanks. You were amazing out there today. I tried my best. I do feel a little icky, though. First the medical timeout, and then that final underhand serve? I don't feel like I deserve to win. So the medical timeout was faked? I used a loophole where I could find one. It's scummy, I know, but I was desperate. Well, I don't like the idea all that much, but Shoichi said he'd have done the same thing, so maybe it's just me. I'm not surprised. Urata is definitely the type to try to get victory at all costs. And it's not technically cheating. I just hope you know that people like you are why the rules around timeouts keep getting tightened in the professional circuit. Yeah, you don't have to remind me. Have to? What is that? Since when do you talk with that kind of accent? Crap. I think a little bit of Kiyoshi-san just came out. I laugh. The idea of Keisuke talking in that kind of dialect like that weird lizard is so absurd that I can't help but laugh. God, don't laugh. That's mean. I'm sorry. It's just... Just? I decide to completely abandon my futon, instead sliding into Keisuke's. I wrap my arms tightly around my hair, pulling him close to me so I can push my nose against his cheek and nuzzle him. Oh, God, your nose. Your nose is cold and wet. Sorry, couldn't resist. It's fine. You're a goober. Don't know what that is, but I'll take it as a compliment. It was. Keisuke turns around, shifting his body so we are both lying on our sides, facing each other. His face is just a few centimeters away from mine, close enough that I can feel his breath on my face. Hey, Nico? Yeah? I love you. I love you too. The hair quickly leans forward to kiss me, reducing the distance between us to 0 as his lips press up against mine, making my chest once again further with happiness and content. Flutter with happiness and content. After that, I quickly pull him closer, letting Keisuke rest his nose under my chin and against my neck. By the way, I was wondering about something. I know you said you'd let it be my decision since you didn't care one way or the other, so... Do you think we could tell the others about us once we get back home from the competition? If we are already at the love you stage, or if we're already at the I love you stage, I feel like it's time. Whatever you want. Really? You don't mind? Thanks. I was worried you wouldn't be okay with it. Keisuke? I try calling out to him, but all I hear is the soft, steady rhythm of Keisuke's breathing. So you fell asleep, huh? Well, that was fast. Guess cuddling was the right idea after all. It's kinda cute. I decide to follow suit, closing my eyes in the hopes that sleep will find me a little easier this time. With the warmth, the comfort, the soft hair fur pressed up against mine, the quiet humming sound of his breathing. Slowly, but surely, sleep finally takes over me. Making sure I save. Alright. There we go. And that's the end of that update. Sorry, my brain's like processing. Alright, there we go. Hey everyone, this is the end of the current Keisuke update. This ended up being a pretty lengthy one, even longer than the last Shoichi update, which is already quite an anomaly in terms of size. I hope this is to you guys' satisfaction. The next update will be a little far from the norm. Haruki's character select events will be added into the game. Naira is currently working on this chibi, and I finalized the script for them. Hope you guys like this update, and stay tuned for the next one. Wow. Good update. That was very fun. Well, one more timestamp, and I probably need to add in another one that I forgot to do. Yeah, I forgot to add in the returning to stream, so. Oh, that was a good one, though. Holy crap. Yes, he did an amazing job, as always. I was nervous that Keisuke would lose that one. It seemed like... I was, like, worried if we were doing the Keisuke route that he would fall because we were in love with him, or whatever the heck. But yeah. That was a good ending. Not much else to say. I'm pretty hungry. It is dinner time. I might pass out myself. Just from tiredness, not from, like, anything hunger related. reading does take a lot of energy out of me. Especially if I'm acting it out like this. Whew, good one though. Very, very good one. Looks like our next update should... Well, yeah, it should be Haruki. Thinking, is the order gonna be June next after that? Is it still Shoichi, Keisuke, June, and then through that whole cycle? How's Haruki gonna play in this? Will he get slotted between Keisuke and June in the rotation constantly? Or will he, like, bounce around? Oh! Jeez. Oh my god, sorry, I got scared for a second. Somebody slammed on my door. I hope y'all are not scared by that. Hopefully I'm fine now. Okay. Well, looks like stream's ending. Unlike my Twitch, Twitch/Dirk the Red Panda, all lowercase, no space. Then, normally on my Twitch streams, I do a raid or whatever. But since this is YouTube, you don't raid anybody. So I will just end things here. So as always, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. And until next time, take care, folks.